America you once knew is dead. Forget everything you thought you knew. You have been lied to. Used. Turned into a machine whose only use is repeating political talking points that do not serve you. Voting for politicians that don't care about you and promoting division in a nation that needs unity. America is an empire, and like all other empires, it rose and inevitably will fall. Most people assume America will last forever, but there is no evidence to support that thought. There is evidence to show that the chance of us surviving is a lot slimmer than the chance of us existing for another 250 years. Your mind is broken. Andrew Tate famously said when asked about the easiest way to accomplish physical goals. He said this to convey the truth that anything that is valuable is difficult to achieve, but worth it. The mind of America is broken. The older generations have turned selfish, the younger generations feel contempt, the middle generations are lost, and the middle class has disappeared. $100,000 a year was once a respectable salary, a goal for most. Now it is not enough to qualify for a mortgage. Boomers have made home prices so unaffordable that Gen Z has stopped even thinking about it as an obtainable goal. Blackstone and other private equity companies have been investing in the single-family home market for years now, and we are starting to see the impacts of this in our country. Rents and mortgages have skyrocketed, which has halted home sales. The actions of the boomers and the private equity companies has left an entire generation behind. Older generations don't understand our generation at all. They think we don't work and don't study like them because we are lazy, when in reality our school systems are harder and less rewarding than ever before, and working accomplishes nothing more than survival for most. My grandfather bought his first house for the equivalent of 10 chickens. He worked barely minimum wage and was able to provide for himself, my grandmother, and 3 children. Over time, he made more and became more successful, but his path to success would be impossible in today's day and age. If he worked minimum wage today for 40 hours a week, that would be $290 a week before tax, $1160 a month, or a little less than $14,000 a year. If that was your salary today, you would be homeless and relying on government benefits to survive. If you save 20% of each paycheck to save for a home, it would take you over 10 years to save up for a down payment, and you wouldn't even get accepted for a mortgage. The idea of owning a home and raising a family in it is the real American dream, and it is dead. Your average high schooler will be told 1,000 times before graduation that if they do not get into a good college and get good grades, that their life will be impossible. We send our youth to universities across America, and the kids who choose to not go seem to be far ahead of the students in life. There are about 5 college majors that are worth it and have a solid return on your investment. And when you look at the most popular college majors, they are some of the least profitable majors with little to no job opportunities. Another stat is that over 50% of people end up getting a job in a field they didn't even study for. So people are taking out student loans with incredibly high interest rates to end up not even using their degrees. 90% of the degrees are essentially worthless, and with the looming threat of AI, robotics, and labor shortages, the other 10% could be on the chopping block soon. This is our reality. We are a generation completely left behind, stripped of our futures before they even start, forced to work to survive but never thrive. The boomer mind cannot comprehend why our minds are the way they are. They can't understand why we feel contempt. They grew up in a world where you meet someone in your town, married them, bought a home, and started a family. For us, we try and meet girls on dating apps and social media, but unless you're 6'5" or crypto rich, you're probably not dating much, because social media and access to dating worldwide has ruined it for everybody. Your average man stands little to no chance. How does an average office worker who goes to his local bar on the weekends compete with Saudi oil kings and offers to fly girls out to yachts every month in Miami? He doesn't stand a chance, and even if he does find a woman, most men I know have completely given up on the idea of finding a wife because dating has just become a humiliation ritual for them. Women want men to act like men but refuse to act like women. They expect a man to lead but are unwilling to follow. We live in the most sexualized generation to ever live. Kids are first seeing pornography at about 10 years old and having sex by 14. Women are taught that modesty is prison and sexual promiscuity is freedom. The feminist movement created figures like Bonnie Blue and started the rise in OnlyFans. And a woman will try and gaslight a man into thinking her posting her bare ass cheeks on Instagram is normal. This has made dating a humiliation ritual. Women once respected themselves, but now they choose to keep their private parts in public. Women now sexualize themselves for money and complain about how sexualized they are. Women are a massive part of the problem. The female mind was not meant to lead. Females are trying to girl boss their way through life instead of finding a man to lead, protect, and provide. This has led to the collapse of marriage and birth rates. Men don't want to settle. Being a woman is easy. You have value just for existing. Even a fat woman will get attention from black guys. Most men don't have that. You need to earn your value as a man through work and determination. And no man of value wants to settle for some girl boss who has had sex with over a dozen guys she doesn't even know. For men, you work and save with the idea of having what your ancestors had before you, only to realize that it is not an obtainable goal anymore. You won't find a woman like your grandma because they don't exist anymore. Your grandma was taught recipes and modesty by her mother. Your girlfriend was taught how to cheat and not get caught by call her daddy. The generational divide is incomprehensible for older generations. They assume things are more or less similar to how they experience it and don't care to learn about the challenges our generation has faced. If you are a 26-year-old like me, you have been alive for 9/11, the housing crash, the Patriot Act, COVID, war on terror, rise in social media, AI, processed foods, rise in microplastic use, school shootings multiple times a year, and cancel culture. This is a difficult stretch of time to grow up in and still have faith in the country. My generation has been put under a microscope. Every action you take is recorded forever. Our devices track us, the companies sell the data, and our private lives have become all too public. Little about your mind is organic like previous generations. Our mind are altered by subliminal messaging, pushed propaganda one TikTok at a time. The reason you think the way you do is the outcome of thousands of hours of social conditioning from social media algorithms designed to turn you into a slave to the system. Vote Democrat, vote Republican, no kings, abortion is healthcare. This is the mind of a slave, the mind of someone without the ability to create thoughts for themselves. When you lose the ability to think for yourself, that is the start of your own demise. Free your mind, create the realities they talk about, don't live in theirs. Don't be a slave to the system, hack it, manipulate it in your favor. We can't snap our fingers and change the world we live in, but we can take control of it, dismantle it, and create a system that fights for us, not for them. Be proud to be white. The American education system is a joke. It's no longer education, it is indoctrination. We send our kids to schools to become mindless zombies, compliant in a system that doesn't even like them. You are taught about the Holocaust and slavery, followed by the KKK and Jim Crow, and everything is taught in a way to deter you from being proud of who you are, to stop you from understanding your ancestors, to halt a true educational journey to persuade you to pursue an interest in a narrative that inevitably leads to your own demise. We grew up in an era of Black Lives Matter and reparations. White lives have been treated like villains in the society that we built, told their voices are less than, silenced, mocked, and shamed. But this is exactly what the school system set up from the start. They taught you that if you are white and proud, you will inevitably become a Nazi or a Klansman. They taught you that every culture is beautiful and has things to offer, but when they talk about white culture, it is colonialism, rape, and school shootings. If you are white, your application is put on the bottom for jobs and for colleges. You automatically have white privilege no matter your real circumstances. And want to know the best part of it all? White women have been some of the biggest voices behind attempting to silence white men and promoting multiculturalism. Instead of white women being proud of their heritage, they mock it. They feel ashamed. The female mind is an emotional labyrinth. It's a maze no one has figured out how to navigate, but the volatility of emotions has led to depression, self-hate, and cultural self-rejection. We live in a period of time with the most oppressed group of women to ever exist. Over 50% of women under 30 are on some form of antidepressant medication, altering their minds and critical thinking skills, dulling their emotions, turning them into mindless bastards. What's the best way to convince an entire race that they should not be proud of who they are and they should celebrate the idea of their own race going extinct? Get everyone jacked up on antidepressants and take away their ability to think for themselves. This is exactly what has happened to us. We've been enslaved. White women vote for the policies that expedite white replacement in America and refuse to procreate with anyone that can't convince to join their cause. The pussy-deprived men will join the woman's fight in creating their own destruction. It's like the creation of artificial intelligence. We as humans created something that will destroy us all inevitably. White women have created and promoted a cause that supports their own demise, and they do it all under the disguise of inclusivity, positivity, and emotions. Kanye West had his entire life ruined over statements he made using his First Amendment rights. He became critical of Jewish supremacists and the Black Lives Matter movement. One famous picture everyone has seen is the picture of Candace Owens and Kanye West wearing White Lives Matter shirts. The statement caused chaos, confusion, and retribution within the media. Famous radio hosts like Charlemagne at The Breakfast Club said in a radio segment, "A statement like White Lives Matter should never be tolerated, and any statement about which lives matter that doesn't include black people is a direct act of prejudice and racism." He condemned Kanye West and Candace Owens. Following this, multiple other media outlets targeted these individuals, and it got to the point where both were receiving death threats and hate mail daily. Two black people caused an international incident because they both wore a shirt that said White Lives Matter. If a white man wears a Black Lives Matter shirt, they are considered a hero to half the population, a brave warrior in a long fight against the racist, oppressive white man. But when a black man and woman wear a White Lives Matter shirt with the intention of spreading unity, they are vilified, demonetized, and cast aside in society. Growing up as a white man, you were taught that all of America's culture has been stolen, and white people never had a culture. White culture is colonialism, slavery, and racism. I was once told by a teacher of mine, instead of talking about the true white culture that exists in every corner of the earth you look. When was the last time you looked at art? Not garbage modern art like paint splattering on a canvas, but true art. The Sistine Chapel, Dali, the Mona Lisa, A Starry Night. That is white culture. That is white excellence. Every time you see a play or a beautiful story in a movie, that was inspired by Shakespeare. That is white culture. Elvis, the Beatles, Van Gogh, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Beethoven, Isaac Newton, the list goes on. This is the blood that courses through your veins. This is the scale to which you can achieve but are told you shouldn't. White culture accepts nothing less than excellence. White culture is the driving force in world history. We built nations, conquered worlds, and influenced and determined the course of world history. The ideas of the past that so easily propagandized our ancestors failed to resonate with us. The young Gen Z white men don't think about the Holocaust or slavery or KKK. We don't care about Jim Crow and women's suffrage. Our politicians lie, affordability is terrible, 50-year mortgages, 15-year car loans, women act like trash, and they want us to focus on the actions of the white man from 80 years ago. That may have worked for the generations before us who grew up with things to look forward to and could buy houses for pennies, but when you strip an entire generation of any hope of a future like their ancestors had, you also radicalize the generations to push back on the rhetoric and policies that got us to this negative spot in the first place. We have realized that feeling guilty for being born white is a tool taught by leftists and self-hating whites to support a culture of white replacement, to support inclusivity to the point of no national identity. Before Hart Celler, you had to be a good, moral, high IQ white person to immigrate to America. In 2026, you get a priority if you are a brown or black leftist who hates American ideals. America is an empire in decline, funding and promoting its own dissolution. The history of white America is beautiful. Men bravely fought kings for freedom. We conquered lands and built an empire. We tamed horses and wolves and pursued greatness. White America created the Constitution, the literal foundation of this beautiful country. But in history classes, the white man is depicted as nothing more than a bloodthirsty tyrant looking to enslave and belittle everyone they deem below them. In their failure to educate, they have created a culture of white hate that has people questioning their own identity and roles in society. Instead of teaching the history of white Americans fighting through blood, sweat, and tears to end slavery, they teach young students that America and racism are synonymous, that white pride and nationalism led to this, and because of that, they can't be practiced again. This is an unfair burden to bestow upon children, telling little white boys and girls that they are oppressors and supremacists if they feel any sense of pride in their ancestors and identity. We celebrate black culture in America, we ignore its faults. We celebrate Muslim culture and ignore its faults. But when it comes to white history, we focus on the faults and ignore all the accomplishments. All of this has led to a culture of resentment on all sides. Minorities and white women resent the white man, while the white man resent the self-hating whites and the system itself that allowed this type of anti-white rhetoric to become so mainstream. As white men in this country, we want equality, not supremacy. We are all made equal under God and will all face judgment. What we do want is the end of white guilt. White guilt has emotionally manipulated white women into promoting their own extinction. It has made relationships harder to find, jobs impossible to climb, and the white population decrease in America by over 33%. This is unsustainable. We need to fight back against a system that promotes this woke garbage. The sooner we realize that the system is not on our side, the sooner we can start to dismantle and rebuild. We can create a system of inclusivity without the lingering pressure of forced assimilation. We don't need to allow millions of immigrants to come into America every year. We can promote the nuclear family and incentivize it. We don't have to teach white guilt, but can instead promote national unity. We can't accept the celebration of races going extinct, but we can celebrate the old ideas dying for new ones to take their place. We are the future. The generations pushing these ideas are the past. We are smarter, more innovative, and more willing to speak out than any other generation, and you would be failing your ancestors as a white man to not use your voice to save our race from extinction, to facilitate the destruction of a woke indoctrination in pursuit of truth and unity. Your voice is your God-given right. This is written on our hearts and in our blood. This is where the line has to be drawn, not in anger or hatred, but in clarity. We are not responsible for the sins of people we have never met. We are not required to feel guilt for simply existing. We are not obligated to hate ourselves to make other people feel comfortable. Pride should not be selective. Identity should not be conditional. And history should not be weaponized against the people who inherit it. What we need is not more division disguised as progress. We need real honesty. We need a system that teaches people where they come from without telling them they should be ashamed of it. A country cannot survive when one group is told to shrink while other groups are told to expand. That is not equality, so the simple answer is reject guilt that was handed to you. Reject narratives that demand your silence. Reject the idea that your identity is something to apologize for. Stand on truth, stand on fairness, stand on the principle that no one should be diminished in order for someone else to rise. Because the future isn't built by people who hate themselves, it's built by people who know who they were and refuse to let that be taken from them. America, we are back, baby. Welcome to another episode of America Unfiltered. Glad to be back with you guys here today on Tuesday. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. I don't know if you guys can notice. I'm still fucking with the settings a little bit. We got a new camera, got a new microphone. We're improving it. We're improving, guys. Show's only getting better. And to be honest, this is all due to you guys. Thank you guys. You guys helped me get to my Jubilee trip. You guys helped me improve the show with better quality microphones, cameras, etc. So thank you guys. God bless all of you. I truly owe it all to you. Before we get into the show, I do want to just talk about it a little bit. Because last year I started my show. I started on January 6th, 2025. I started it with the intentions of wanting to actually run for office. If you've seen the first episode of my show, it's me saying, hey guys, I'm going to run for House in Florida. And it's actually crazy. If you go watch my show in the beginning versus now, it used to suck. I mean, it's so different seeing like what it's like when I'm really nervous in front of the camera and I'm like sitting there and I have a shitty setup versus now where I'm just like, okay, let's say whatever the fuck we want. Who cares anymore? Who gives a shit? But it's awesome. And with the help of you guys, we got to a top 5% show in the entire world in our first year ever. Our first year ever, we got to a top 5% show in the entire world. And through that, we've built our audience a lot. We have a lot of good commenters, a lot of good viewers, a lot of people who reach out to me personally on social media. And I'm just so appreciative of all of it. I can't express it enough how much I truly appreciate. And stuff like this is what I really appreciate. JT, you're the man. Love you, JT. Hope you're having a great day today. Thank you so much. 5 gifted subs. Let's fucking go. Shout out, JT. Everybody give him an 07. Thank you so much. You are the man. And again, that's what keeps this moving. That's what keeps this well-funded. That's what keeps, the lights lit. Like I said, new lights, new mic, new camera. We're back, baby. America, we are so fucking back. Holy shit. I think I can notice the camera quality a little bit. I still have to tweak the settings because you could still see like a little bit of a green outline around me from my green screen. I wish I could afford this view, but I can't. I can't, sadly. I can't. Not that I don't know. I don't know if I want to live in New York. But once I tweak the settings a bit, I think it'll be a bit better. But I think it's looking good. I think it looks pretty good so far. I would love to hear what you guys think, but I'm liking it so far. I'm looking at it. I spent the last like 2.5 hours setting this up. I got my birthday later this month, and I was like to my parents, I was like, you know what? Like, I was looking to get a camera. I was looking, at microphones, blah, blah, blah. They were like, why don't we just do it now instead of, waiting till the end of the month? They're going to be traveling a little bit, so makes it all easier. But God bless them. God bless you guys. Thank you guys so much. I really love doing this. I enjoy doing the show. I enjoy talking about all these topics, and you guys truly make it possible. It's a dream come true for me to be able to work in politics in some form and to be educating people about what's going on in the country. So God bless you guys, and really, truly thank you guys for this. But I do want to get on with the show. We don't really have anything crazy breaking, but we do have some small stories to talk about, and then one larger story. And the larger story actually comes with a long video as well. The long video and the larger story is that James Fishback today showed up to the Florida Governor's Forum, which was supposed to be a debate between the candidates for governor in Florida. And guess who refused to show up? Byron Section 8 Donalds was sitting on his couch smoking his crack pipe, and he forgot he had a debate today. Outright refused. He's a fucking coward. And people are going to vote for this coward? He's not going to show up to debate. What makes you think he's going to show up for you? This guy has no balls. No balls at all. He didn't even show up. Didn't even make a fucking appearance in the zip code. And people are going to vote for this guy? If he won't show up to a debate, I promise you he won't show up for you. If you're not donating $500,000 to this guy's campaign, he won't even answer your fucking call. I've met James Fishback. I DM James Fishback. I email James Fishback. Many Floridians do this. They contact him through social media, and he answers everybody. Not just the fucking Israel lobby who donates to him. Not just the AIPAC donors and Miriam Adelson and the other donors who want to buy stocks in Florida and steer the direction of Florida through getting him elected and just running the entire state. It's completely fucked up what he wants to do. It's just absolutely disgusting. Byron Section 8 Donald's vision for this state. It's repulsive, actually. The guy's not even fully anti-abortion. He said abortion is a choice. Really? Really? A child is dying and it's a choice? Fuck you. Fuck you. Absolute scum. We have $1.5 billion invested in Israeli war bonds. And you know what he says? That's a good thing. It doesn't even beat inflation, fuckface. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? We're losing money over time. It's absolutely fucking retarded what's happening right now with Byron Donalds. But James Fishback, again, Nick was right. He is the true white pill. And I've been on Fishback for a while. I was on this guy since almost day one of his campaign. I was at his early events. I still go to his events. He's really one of the smartest speakers, smartest people in all of Florida. And like I've said many times, and I'm going to continue to double down saying it, James Fishback will inevitably be president of this country. He is that good. James Fishback is the man. He is legit. He means what he says. He truly believes it. He gets emotional speaking about it. That's authentic. This guy is truly authentic. The same way, like, people, you always have these, you have, like, boomers, and they're like, oh, why don't you watch, like, media? Why don't you watch Fox, CNN? Why don't you watch the news? Why do you get all your information from these podcasts and critics? It's like, because they're authentic. Because they're authentic. Because they're them. Because they're real fucking human beings, not retards reading shit off a teleprompter. James Fishback is an authentic human being, a real human being. Byron Donalds is a fucking hack. He is a nobody, a literal nobody. He is somebody who wants to sell you out to the Israel lobby, to the big donors, to the institutions. He wants to build AI data centers here. Did you guys see the pictures recently of what it looked like in a small town? I want to say it was Texas, but I actually, off the top, I could be Tennessee. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. We could look it up during the show. There was pictures from a small town, kind of like a desert town, where there's not much, but they now built these big AI data centers. And all you can see in these towns is permanent sunlight. Permanent sunlight, like worse than Las Vegas type shit. It's, did I just say type shit? What, did I just turn black? What the fuck? I should kill myself for that. I play too much NBA 2K. The fact that I just said type shit, I got a pistol in my pocket. Should I just end it all? That's great. Sorry, guys. I truly apologize. Type shit. That's just sub-Saharan. We're not gonna indulge there. We're not gonna indulge in saying type shit anymore. That's just. I feel disgusted with myself. I want to punch myself in the throat for that. What was I even saying? I don't even fucking know. I don't even know what the fuck I was saying. I'm just glad to be back with you guys here on the show today on Tuesday. I'm so glad to be back. It's exciting. And like I said, we got a few small topics we're going to cover before we actually get into the governor's forum. And we're going to watch the entire thing. It's about an hour 20, the video. We're going to put it in 1.25x, maybe 1.5x speed, whatever feels comfortable. I've gotten to the point where I cannot listen to shit in just regular speed. Regular speed, it's too slow. The regularness of life is too slow for me. Sorry, I like to live my life in the fast lane. I like to listen to videos and consume the information a bit faster. I can't stand the long gaps in like words and sentences. It's my ADHD. I'm impatient. Sorry about it. But glad to have you guys back with us. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Day one says, looking good. Thank you. Appreciate that. JT, this one's for you. I'll keep going till I'm done forever for you. W setup, you're the man, J2. W, mom and pops. Wiggers from you mingle are taking over your brain. Wait, you can't. Yeah, he goes, you can't say wiggers. They moderated him. What? Fuck the AI kick mods. Wiggers. We could say it all we want. I'm going to take the AI moderator out back and read it a nice bedtime. Yeah, Rogue, I know you're not Rogue commenting this, but Rogue, I need you to take the AI kick mods and take them behind the chemical shed. Show them a good time. But thank you guys for being in the live chat today. Thank you guys for watching live. Thank you guys for watching on Spotify as well. Please remember to like, smash the follow button, leave a comment. We read all the comments at the end of each show. Rate the show 5 stars on Spotify. Follow me on all platforms. Join my Telegram by scanning that code. And check out our website, autv.shop. autv.shop for all your America Unfiltered goods. But okay, with that, let's get into the actual show. Like I said, some smaller topics we're going to cover at the start. Then we'll get into the good stuff, the juicy stuff. We'll get into the governor's forum where Fishback's opponent, Byron Donalds, did not even show up. Didn't have the balls or the courtesy to even show up. He wants to say, I'm going to show up for Floridians, but won't show up to the fucking debate. What a pussy. What a pussy of a man. And to be honest, it's insulting to men to call Byron Donalds a man. As a man, I feel insulted putting that piece of shit in the same category as me. It's not a man. That's a coward. That's an absolute sackless piece of shit. A sackless individual. That is somebody with no moral compass at all. It is ridiculous. But we're going to watch it. I watched part of it, and Fishback was on fucking fire. Holy shit. This guy is electric. Fishback, I hate to say he could do no wrong, but Fishback, chef's kiss to how he presented himself and his answers that I witnessed during this event. And again, I didn't watch the whole thing. I probably watched 20, 30 minutes of it out of the hour 20. And he was just on fire the entire time. It was electric. So I'm excited for you guys to see it with me. I'm excited to watch it with you guys. But let's get into the smaller news stuff. Let's get it pulled up here on our big screen. So I want to start with this. We reported on this story recently. Tanner Horner, the FedEx driver who kidnapped and murdered the 7-year-old girl in Texas, is now being sentenced to death. And if you remember, I'm not exactly sure if he molested her or not, but he did strip her naked. We do know that. And we do know the girl was crying for her mother as all this was happening. It's such a disgusting thing to picture. Such a disgusting thing to happen. This is pure demonic evil when things like this happen. We have to remind ourselves that the greatest trick the devil ever pulled is convincing everybody he did not exist. Demonic evil is everywhere, and we need to be, sadly, reminded of it. And this is that reminder. This is the reminder that the evil in our world is all around us, and you do need to watch out for it. And Matt Walsh's statement is what I truly want to address here. Matt Walsh goes, I'm challenging any death penalty opponent, there are millions of them allegedly, to step up to the plate right now and explain why this guy should not be executed. His guilt is established beyond any doubt whatsoever. His crime is utterly savage and heinous. Tell us why he doesn't deserve to die. Go ahead. First of all, I just want to say, we covered the Philly kids who can't read. I'd love to see them read any of these tweets. I'd love to see the Philly retards who can't read any of these tweets. I know it wouldn't happen. But I'm going to give my challenge to you, Matt Walsh, as a anti-death penalty person. I consider myself very anti-death penalty, and I used to be extremely pro-death penalty. But after the Catholic Church shifted its stance on it, I shifted my stance on it as well. And I have come up with a new thing, because you're right. Jail time is not enough for this scumbag. It is not enough. But you want to know what else isn't enough? Death. Death is an easy way out for a coward like this. You want to know what the correct answer is? Put this motherfucker in the slave camps. I want to start the slave camps up again. I want to take the worst criminals, and I want to replace the illegal immigrants and what we manufacture overseas in sweatshops in China with slaves in this country. You want to commit the worst crimes? You want to be a criminal? You want to rob people? You want to kill people? You want to rape people? You want to assault people? Guess what? Straight to the fucking camps. And nope, you're not going to die at them. You'll die a slow, miserable death picking my strawberries, bitch. You'll die a slow, painful death making my fucking shoelaces. And that's what I want for this person. So that's my challenge to Matt Walsh. And to be honest, I commented that on here as well for him to see. I said, instead of executing them, we should make them slaves and start replacing illegal immigrant labor with prison slaves. Hopefully Matt Walsh sees this, because I will say, I think Matt Walsh will agree with me on this one, potentially. I think Matt Walsh might be the guy who's like, you know what? Maybe we go away from the death penalty altogether and we just go back to slaves. I think Matt Walsh might be on to that. I think he might at least agree with it if he heard it. But I think that's the best answer, personally. I think bringing back slave camps in America for the worst criminals is easily the best decision. We don't have to prop the entire economy on it, but it could definitely help the economy. They always love to talk about, oh, GDP and illegal immigrants, blah, 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 blah. Okay, slave labor, bitch. Have a fucking guy with a Barrett 50 cal in a tower pointing it at the back of their heads at all times. If they want to fuck around, they can find the fuck out. That's what I want. That's what I want for Florida. That's what I want for the United States. That's what I want in my... You make me dictator of America today? That's rule number one. Slave camps are back for the worst of the worst criminals. Everybody on death row, report to the slave camps. Everybody with above a 10-year sentence, report to the fucking... 5-year sentence, report to the fucking slave camps. Immediately. And depending on the severity of your crime or the amount of victims in your crime, we will designate you to do different jobs in the slave fields or in the slave sweatshops. You know, the lesser of crimes, we can maybe find some easier jobs for them in these fields. But the worst of the worst, you're gonna hate your fucking life. I promise you. You're gonna hate it. We're gonna put you on like pest control with no weapons. You're just gonna be out there fucking trying to grab rattlehead snakes with your hands and nothing else. You're gonna be out there fighting boars. You're gonna be out there fighting fucking poisonous snakes. You're gonna be out there having to handle alligators with your bare hands. I want the worst of the worst for the worst of the worst. And I think that is true justice. I think that would get more justice for the victims. I think that's the greatest answer. Seeing these people die is not enough to me. I want to see them tortured their entire life. And then they could die in the fields where they were tortured. That's what I want for America. That's what I want for my America. And I think it truly is the best option. We don't have to keep going on about it, but Matt Walsh said, I'm challenging anybody. There you go. There you go. There's your challenge. And it's not the one you thought it would be. You thought it would be somebody who said, oh, the morality of killing some... Nope. It's not enough. That's my stance. It is not enough. I want true fucking justice. This little girl got raped, kidnapped, and killed? Yeah, this guy should be a slave for life. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I see no reason not to utilize this individual as a slave, dehumanizing them for the rest of their lives. That is true justice to me. That is what I agree with. I feel like that's the right answer, though. I mean, like, nobody has a better answer. Everybody's like, oh, just put him to death. It's like, what does that gain us? If anything, it just costs us money. It costs us money to put these people to death. It costs us next to nothing to have them profiting for us. That's just profitable. That's amazing. This is how this world was built. It was built on slavery. I'm not saying the entire world was built on the backs of slavery, but all nations had them. All nations had them at a point. And again, I'm not saying just enslave innocents. We don't have to do that. That is immoral. That is corrupt. That is terrible, un-Catholic practices. But the worst of the worst, I see no reason to let them see daylight outside of working in a fucking field for me, for the government, for this country. And I think that's the greatest answer. But okay, we're going to keep moving on. We're going to go on to the next topic. Like I said, just a couple small topics. I saw this and I was like, this is just absurd. And I don't want to like be doxing all these numbers, but this girl did, so I'm not really the one doing it. But this girl posts, text my mother received from strangers on the internet today. Happy Monday. Your daughter is a cunt. I feel so sorry that your daughter is such a hateful human being. Your daughter is a hateful cunt. Please parent your daughter. Like, shit like this. Your daughter is so mean. I guess ugly just runs in the family. I just want to say to people reaching out to other people's parents because they disagree with them politically, you are like the weirdest, most schizophrenic freaks to ever exist. Everybody has different opinions, and for you to literally find someone's mom's phone number, text their mother, who may or may not have the same political beliefs as them, and realistically, when that child becomes an 18-year-old, which that girl is, that mom has no control. She has no real control over her daughter. Her daughter's an adult. Her daughter can formulate her own opinions, thoughts, and words. And the mother does not have to agree with any of it. I mean, I know my family does not agree with the things I say, but they, at least, most of them, respect that I have my right to say it. And it's just crazy to me that people go out of their way to text somebody's family. Like, that is some of the most disgusting things. So I felt like I wanted to just bring this up. This girl deserves our prayers with what her family is being put through because of just right-wing posts she made on the internet. And nothing even crazy. Like, stuff aligning with MAGA, not even stuff like aligning with Groypers. So not even, like, crazy rhetoric. It was like the equivalent to Charlie Kirk rhetoric. I think she was talking about skinny versus fat people, which is just, I mean, that's just like health. That's not even controversial to me. It's like, if you're fat, you're sinful, you're lazy, you're disgusting. If you're not, that's a whole different thing. But fat people deserve literally no sympathy. Unless you're actively trying to improve it, I show no kindness to fat people, really. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Unless they are trying to actively improve it, I will shit on you for being fat and I will shame you. If you're trying to actively improve it, I'll keep the shaming to a minimum, only in an encouraging fashion. But yeah, the people who are just not trying to fix it at all, it's like, okay, like, you should just be deported. Like, honestly, just go fucking be a buoy in the ocean or something, you freak. But okay, we're going to keep moving on. We got 3 more things to show, and then we're getting on to this video. We're going to zip through this stuff fast. So I found another type of person I want to put in my slave camps. Earlier I was including assaulters, people who committed burglaries, murderers, rapists. Those were like the 4 big ones where I was like, you know what? And human trafficking, it's the worst, the worst of the worst. That stuff, kidnapping, blah, blah, blah. Those people deserve slave camps. But I figured out one other individual or one other category that deserves these slave camps. And it is the people like this. So this is a video from a security cam footage of a Florida woman who has now been charged for what she did to her dog. Look, she looks around, makes sure no one's looking, throws the fucking dog. The dog starts running back to her like, Mom, what are you doing? Kicks the fucking dog. Right to the fucking slave camps. Right to the camps. Animal abusers, right to the fucking camps. Animal abusers deserve zero love. They are the shittiest people. Look what she's doing. Look how she's handling that animal right now. This beautiful dog. I'll take that. Like, I didn't even watch the full video earlier. I didn't even know that ending ended like that. That's hard to see. That's so depressing. As a dog owner myself, and somebody, like, I know people say it's cheesy, but I view my dog as like my best fucking friend. My dog is my daughter. My dog, I love my dog with everything inside me. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Shooter with Mark Wahlberg. If you have, an incredible movie. But when they kill his dog, he literally kills everybody. He's like, I don't even care. They set me up saying I did this. Like, this. The movie's about them, like, setting him up, saying he tried to assassinate the president, but it wasn't really him. Big conspiracy thing. They kill his dog. And then he kills everybody who was involved in killing his dog. He's like, I don't even give a shit about the other stuff. They killed my fucking dog. It's like, this is so personal now. And again, that's what it's like. Like, you touch my dog? Oh, my Lord. Oh. Pray for yourself if you touch my dog, because you're not going to live more than another 24 hours. Like, my dog is everything to me. Dogs are beautiful creatures. Dogs are so special to us, especially in America. We love dogs. And to see a woman, sorry, it's disrespectful to women to call her a woman. To see that cunt, that disgusting cunt, throw that dog like that, and kick that dog like that and hold it down against the hot pavement in the Florida sun on a 90-degree day, straight to the fucking slave camps. Jail time is not enough for pieces of shit like this. Slave camps till the day she dies. You cannot fix that. That is disgusting. And it's just, I don't know. That really fucked me up, seeing her throw the dog at the end. Like, the first throw, that was bad. The second throw, holy shit, that was atrocious. She launched that fucking thing. Sorry, that cunt launched that fucking thing. I gotta stop calling her a she. She's not a she. She's a cunt. Raging cunt. You want to know something crazy? Someone with an account, Patrick Bet David, commented on my last episode. I'd say 90% chance, 99% chance it's not the real Patrick Bet David, but I'm not writing it off because I have had Madison Cawthorn and Ron Oons comment, or Ron Oons, I don't know how the fuck you say it, on my comment on my show before. So it's not completely out of the question that, you know, my show gets pumped out to a lot of people through the algorithm. The algorithm seems to love me, on Spotify at least. So it's not completely out of the question. And he was like, you're the future, young man, but stop with the anti-Semitism. Stop with the crazy rhetoric. It's like, what do you think he's going to say about me calling this woman at the range cunt? If it actually is I think he might agree. I don't know. I think Patrick Bet David might agree. But Patrick Bet David, now that you may or may not be a fan of my show, just in case, I do have to say, when you were reading the Luigi Mangione letter, and this is something I said on my show before, but I'm reiterating it because you might be watching now. I would say 1% chance, but just in case. When you were reading Luigi Mangione's letter, you said a moment where you were like, I used to sing the song Hit 'Em Up by Tupac. I cannot imagine you saying, first off, fuck your bitch in the clique you claim, west side till we ride and we quick with game. You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife. We bust on bad boy. I can't imagine you singing that, like, in your voice. Like, it's so funny to me. I remember picturing that on the show, and I did this whole performance before when you were first doing it. I was like, whoa, did he just say Hit 'Em Up by Tupac? Like, I cannot imagine Patrick Bet David in his voice. It's like a very distinct voice that we all recognize. I cannot imagine that singing that song. It's just, I don't know. I gotta see a clip of that. That's hilarious. So if he is actually watching, the 1% chance that Patrick Bet David is watching my show, please DM me that clip. Send me that. Just post that clip anywhere for all of us to see. I think we all want to see you singing that. That would be, you could bleep out the N-word. You could do whatever you want there, you know, artist decision. But I do just want to hear your rap. I gotta hear it. I'm not gonna lie. But okay, we're gonna keep moving on. But I do want to just say, reiterate my point again. This woman, keep fucking up. This disgusting cunt goes straight to the camps. No sympathy for people who abuse animals. So again, kidnappers, sex traffickers, murderers, rapists, burglars, assaulters. I'm sure there's a couple more we could throw in there, but those people straight to the camps, no matter what. And I think that's actually, excuse me, I think that's extremely reasonable of a position. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's pretty reasonable. But okay, let's go. Let's keep moving on. So we have this update right here. Polls have closed in Ohio. Vivek Ramaswamy has been selected as the GOP nominee for the governor, defeating Casey Putsch. Amy Acton ran unopposed and will be the Democratic nominee. Again, Casey really didn't have much of a chance. It seemed like he didn't even figure out the ballot stuff correctly, which, whatever, but slightly embarrassing. Pretty embarrassing, actually. But we need Vivek to lose. We cannot have a person who spouts the kind of rhetoric he does, the un-American piece of shit he is, win. We cannot have that. This guy is a disgrace. He's un-American. He's not a real American. Somebody who does not have any real American ideals. And he's somebody who thinks that somebody who got a green card yesterday is just as American as me, whose family's been here for generations and fought in the wars of this country. And I'm going to inform you, that is not fucking true. It is not true. Somebody who came here yesterday is nowhere close to as American as me. They're not even a real fucking American. Fuck people like him. People like him should not be in politics in this country. We cannot allow anchor babies to hold government positions. It is a disgrace to this country. An absolute disgrace. And there's one other thing before we get into our other thing I want to talk about. So I saw this and I didn't get it pulled up, but We had Randy Fine, who I'm extremely critical of. Randy Fine put out a post that actually has been getting like a little bit support from my side of the movement, which is a little odd to me because I'm going to call it out. But he put out a post saying nobody holding two passports should be able to be an elected official. He's like, if you're holding an Armenian passport and an American passport, no. Even if you're he even specified, even if you're holding an Israeli passport and an American passport, you shouldn't. Which again, I do not disagree with his statement at all. I want to be clear about that. I actually agree with his statement. But what I disagree with is what he's trying to do. He's trying to hide the fact that he has dual loyalty. He might not have two passports, he might not have dual citizenship, but he has dual loyalty. That is the problem. The problem, there are two problems. One problem, yes, it is that people in government do hold two passports. Massive issue that we need to get rid of. And I completely support the idea that getting rid of any politician who's holding two passports or making politicians get rid of their second passport to serve in the United States government, I think that's a necessity for the success of our country in the long run. But equally, and if not more, honestly, if not more, dual loyalty is what's the problem. Because when you look at the two passport issue, you look at like Dan Bilzerian, who's running against Randy Fine. We're going to use him as the example because that's kind of who Randy Fine made the post about, because he specified Armenian. Dan Bilzerian has an Armenian passport and an American passport. He does that because he has a little bit of family in Armenia, to my knowledge. Not 100% sure on that, I guess. But he does travel around the world. He's been an extremely rich man for a while. He became very rich through gambling. Very crazy story, actually, if you haven't read his book. I urge you to check it out. It is a lot of sexual degeneracy, though. He was a sex addict, too. That itself is kind of fucked up and gross. But he became very rich through gambling. He travels. But here's the thing. He doesn't have any loyalty to Armenia. He's somebody who's been open about this. He does it for ease of travel, and that's about it. And he's also said, I will obviously and very willingly drop my Armenian passport to run for this race if that's what's necessary. So like I said, the bigger problem is dual loyalty, because Dan Bilzerian has two passports, but he doesn't have dual loyalty. Randy Fine has one passport, but he has dual loyalty. Laura Loomer, dual loyalty. Ben Shapiro, dual loyalty. Mark Levin, dual loyalty. Josh Hammer, dual loyalty. Trump, dual loyalty. That is the problem. That is the problem. Holding Israel as an equal to America or as better to America, that is the problem. Holding foreign nations as if they're equal to America is absurd. It is actually fucking insane to me. And I just wanted to acknowledge that point, because I saw it and I was like, why would he be posting this? And then I thought about it for just half a second. I was like, oh, it's obvious. It's because he wants to distract from the fact that he has dual loyalty. He wants to make it seem like he does not, because he doesn't have two passports. Breaking news, fat ass. Just because you don't have two passports does not mean you do not have dual loyalty. You fucking retard. You fat sack of shit. Randy Fine is one of the worst people in our entire government, one of the most disgusting people. Claims to be pro-life, but then tweets out pictures of dead babies buried in rubble and says, send me more of them. Fuck you. Fuck everything you stand for. Fucking disgusting piece of shit. Oh, we just had Whippet join in. Whippet goes, W, James. W, Whip. We love you, Whippet. Let's go. W, Whippet. Thank you for joining into the chat. Someone goes, we need Ceci to be the one talking to Matt Walsh here. He ain't gonna support it publicly with slavery in the name, LOL. Yeah, that's the thing. We could just call it a work. That's the thing. I could be more PC and just be like, oh, we'll call them work programs. And that would sound like, I honestly bet I can get a lot of support. I bet I could legitimately garner support from politicians if I was like, we're going to call it work programs. But I like the idea of slave camps. I like the idea of modern slavery. I'm not going to lie. I just like it. And here's the thing. As Gen Z starts getting older, they'll be with it too. Like, Gen Z just doesn't give a shit. We don't give a shit. We grew up watching Jackass, and they're so surprised that we're like all sick fucks. We grew up watching guys like tase their own balls and sit in rooms with bears draped in honey. Like, and they're like, why are you guys so, why are you guys all shock jocks? Why are you guys all so offensive? It's like, are you kidding me? I grew up watching guys roll on mousetraps, throwing midgets at donkeys so the donkey would kick him in the dick. Like, really, you're this surprised? I grew up in COD lobbies where I'd get called slurs at 7 years old. Like, they're so shocked that we're like this, but it's like, okay, like look at how we grew up. I grew up with the internet. You didn't. I grew up in a COD lobby. You didn't. I grew up watching Jackass. I grew up watching these people literally assault themselves for our entertainment. And they're like, why do you think that's funny? It's like, cause it is. Cause it's hilarious. These guys are getting their nuts kicked in by donkeys.
It's actually insane. Like Johnny Knoxville at 50 is getting kicked in the back of the head by a bull. Like these guys are crazy. And they're like, why are you guys like this? Cause of that. Cause of that. Cause what our childhood was like. Our childhood was filled with this, and they're so shocked that we're like this. It's like, okay, you guys might be the retarded ones, not us. EHC goes, should I withdraw my bet on... No, I would wait till the actual debate. So this wasn't supposed to be like a real debate. A little bit, it was a governor's forum, which would have turned into a debate if Donald showed up. But the actual debates, first one I think is June 6th, and then there's another one in July. I personally would ride it to the second debate, but like, I don't know, maybe after the first one. Like, if you're just looking for profits, yeah, probably after the first, maybe the second one, a few days after the first. I wouldn't do it yet. No chance I would do it yet. But yeah, someone goes, labor camp. Yeah, labor camps is probably the politically correct term for a slave camp, but I like the idea of slave camp. I like the idea of a politician writing the slave camp bill. Return slavery to America bill. See, that would be funny. Like HR 193, return slavery back to America. That's the bill right there. I don't even know what HR 193. I just made that up for a bill name. But I think it's a good idea. I like it, honestly. I like it. But okay, we're going to keep moving on. We are going to keep moving on. Let's go to our final thing before we get into the Fishback stuff, which is this statement from Donald Trump. Breaking, President Trump announces a pause to Project Freedom due to significant progress towards a complete and final agreement with Iran. Based on the request of Pakistan and other countries and tremendous military success that we have had during the campaign against the country of Iran, and additionally the fact that great progress has been made toward a complete and final agreement with representatives of Iran, we have mutually agreed that while the blockade will remain in full force and effect, Project Freedom, the movement of ships through the Strait of Hormuz, will be paused for a short period of time to see whether or not the agreement can be finalized and signed. President Donald J. Trump. And I want to tell you guys why this is all just a big nothing burger, because Iran has outright said we are unwilling to negotiate with you guys at all on anything, including the Strait of Hormuz, including literally anything that involves anything that's happened since end of February when the war actually started, until you guys realize that we are never going to give up our nuclear ambitions. And it is very clear that they will not be giving up these ambitions, and they have no incentive to do so. If they give up their nuclear ambitions, they're dead anyway. So why not just die out fighting this war? And I'm not supporting Iran here. But at the same time, I think what the United States did here was directly for Israel. It doesn't benefit the United States. It only serves to support Israel. We spend money on this war. We lose soldiers in this war. We lose key military bases in the Middle East. We get ships damaged, billions of dollars in damages, like I said. Gas is at, fucking record-breaking prices essentially throughout the country. Complete disaster in gas. I'm even here in South Florida where gas is usually cheap as shit. But no, gas is expensive as fuck right now. Huge problem. And this is all due to the problems we're having over there in Iran and the problems with the Strait of Hormuz, which we had access to before the war ended, but we do not necessarily have control of now. They like to say we have control over it, but we don't. If we had real control over it, then everything would kind of be back to normal, domestically, at least price-wise, but we do not have that. It is a complete lie by Donald Trump. Him saying we're working on finalizing an agreement. There is no agreement because Iran is refusing to negotiate. And if they're negotiating, one of their things that they are unwilling to move on is nuclear ambitions. And here's the real red pill. If this war theoretically does end in like the next week, like say next week, the war truly does end, we pull everything out, that means it's only going to start again because the project was not finished. Israel has certain ambitions here. And until we complete the goals that Israel wanted us to complete for them, we will not be done with Iran. So if this war ends soon, just wait another couple of years, wait another 3 years, whatever it is, and it will be back. I can almost guarantee it. But I actually do not think it's going to end soon. I do think this will continue. I do think Iran has a lot of leverage here to make America feel pain. I mean, they're already making America feel pain. Every single day that prices keep going up, or at least even if they just stay the way they are, Donald Trump becomes more and more unpopular, and it is becoming a problem for him. And it's actually disgusting as well because he said, oh, I don't care about the poll numbers when it comes to anything with Iran. But then when it came to mass deportations, he was like, oh, it's just too politically unpopular. It's like, did you think it would be popular to deport 50 million people? Fucktard? No, it was never going to be popular besides amongst the right. We want it. We don't want to see the demographic change. I don't want my kids growing up in South Africa. Sorry about that. I don't want my kids growing up in a place where they're a minority and everybody fucking hates them because they're white in a country that white people built. So yeah, I'm so fucking disgusted by it. But this is the update we got from Donald Trump. But let's go on. Let's get to our final thing, which is this debate forum. I don't know necessarily what we're going to call it, but we'll put it in 1.5x speed. If it feels too fast, we're going to go down to 1.25x speed. And I have a little bit different of a setup. I used to have like the headphones in. Now I shouldn't have to do that, but let me know if the audio is like a double audio for you guys. Because if it is, I'll fix it. I'll put the headphones in. But I don't think it should be. I think I fixed it. It might be for like the first like moment I turn on the video, the mic might recognize it, but then after that, it should drop it. So let me guys know, they are stopping the war, so retards will still vote Republicans in the midterms. Yeah, again, it's all just political propaganda and bullshit. Someone in the chat goes, Fishback is the GOAT. Fishback is the fucking GOAT. Fishback's the man. And I've been on Fishback since early fucking on. I knew who this guy was immediately after he started his campaign. I saw his videos. I met him in person multiple times. True genius. And like I said, before we get into this video, I'm going to repeat it one more time. Inevitably, he will be the president of this country. I keep tweeting it out, and I will say, I got a like by James Fishback on the tweet too, so maybe he's thinking it too. I said, 2026 Governor Fishback, 2032 President Fishback. Within 2 minutes, liked by James Fishback. Didn't even tag him. Again, I think he feels the same way. I think he's onto it. I think he knows as well that he could be president if he wins this race. And again, like I said, he inevitably will be, in my opinion. He truly is one of the smartest, if not the smartest politician I have ever encountered. But let's get into the video.
Founders of the organization and LC Action that started the whole thing. That's why we're here tonight to meet the other founders in a minute. So we want to begin like we like to begin all of our events by acknowledging God. And I'll ask you to stand, and we're going to have Jesse, one of the hosts from the church. We're so grateful we're laying on his top, and he's going to lead us in prayer. They don't have to pledge allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for our time together this evening, and thank you that we get to gather freely without any concern for the government coming in trying to stop us this evening. I thank you that we live in a country where we can worship freely, or we can proclaim the name of Jesus. And we just thank you so much for organizations like Florida Citizens Alliance that are doing so many good things in the state of Florida. We thank you for this country. We thank you for our president. And God bless America. In Jesus' name, everybody.
That's just because someone said it sounds like an echo. That's just because the audio shit so far right now. Wait till they're. I don't know why, but I remember it too when I turned it on right in the beginning. The audio in the beginning here. Let's just like skip to when they're actually. I feel bad skipping the pledge, but let's skip to like when they sit down and they're sitting in front of their mics. That's when the audio is actually good. If it's still an echo there, I'll fix it. I'll try and fix it, but I don't think it should be.
All of you got at least one card like this when you came in. If you didn't, we have many more. You have another one. But what this is for is you have a question for our candidates tonight. That's why we get this right up front. We want your questions. We have moderators who have questions. Some of us could come up with lots of questions, but we want your questions. So if you have a question already written on the card, we've got people that are going to come and collect them off. Go. Have civil conversations.
When did this fucking thing start? Let's see how the audio is when it starts here.
Thank you, Dr. Stevens. My name is Ryan Kennedy. I'm the Chief Operations here at the Florida Citizens Alliance FLC Action. And I have my other co-moderator. I'll let him introduce himself now, and I'll explain it.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here. My name is R.C. Williams. I'm co-founder of the Juvenile Sherlock Research and Behavioral Marketing. Also watch Action and Ministry focused on equipping the church to engage the culture. It's wonderful to be in civic dialogue.
When does the fucking thing actually start? What is this?
And everyone here, thank you.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you very much, Ryan, RC, Speaker Renner, and
like, how's that audio with Fishback? Was there any echo there? Or was that good? Because that's what like the vast majority of the video sounds like after they actually get in it. EHC says fire. Let's get one more confirmation. JT says that sounds good. Okay, we're gonna keep going.
Everyone here, thank you so much for coming this evening. This is a race that is not about different men. It is about two different, radically different visions that our state can go in. I'm going to tell you up front right now, if Ron DeSantis could run for a third term, I would not be on this stage because Ron DeSantis is the greatest governor in Florida history.
And just notice, look at the seat next to him open. And I wish they zoomed in on the nameplate, but the nameplate says Byron Donalds, who did not show up at all. A sackless coward of an individual.
I think I can speak for both Speaker Renner and I when we say the next governor of this state must preserve the incredible conservative wins that Ron DeSantis and First Lady have given us. We have to preserve those wins, and when we do that, we can then begin to build on them. What do we mean by build on those wins? Well, we actually mean quite the opposite. We mean stop the irresponsible, reckless building and development. Florida is full. Since COVID, Florida has welcomed over 800,000 people from all over the country. Housing inflation, housing shortages, skyrocketing property tax, property insurance, auto insurance, HOA, condominiums, your light bill, everything is out of this world expensive. And the trajectory, it's not going to get any better. From AI data centers taking your water and your electric.
Someone just said, actually, if you're an inmate, state, or fed, you can be put to slave labor. It's already a law. Many inmates would refuse it and possibly riot over it. Oh, yeah, you're probably right. They would. But here's what you do. You take the first one who riots over it and point blank shoot him in the fucking head. I promise you there'll be less riots after that. I can almost guarantee there would be.
Bill to H-1Bs, cheap foreign labor from India and China taking your job, your kid's job, or your grandkid's job. The threats are real. It is now time for a leader to step up. A leader to step up in the same way that our founding fathers stepped up 250 years ago and said 3 words, enough is enough. I am running to be the next governor of Florida as a 4th-generation Floridian because I believe that Florida is our home. America is our birthright, and no one should ever be able to steal that from us. Thank you very much.
I think Byron in 2018, looking at the election results and not knowing if we're going to have Ron DeSantis or Governor Andrew Gillum. Think about that. And so why that matters is we have to have someone who's ready for leadership on day one. And so the reason why I should be your next governor is a lifetime of leadership under pressure. 20 years in the military, I served in 2 wars, leading men and women to defend our country. As a prosecutor, trying habitual and violent habitual offenders, as an owner of a business, a partner in another business, and also as someone who's shown up and actually delivered results. We have too many politicians, including Republicans, who get into office, and all they do is they self-promote, they get rich, they have fun, and they forget about we, the people, and they need to come home. We do not need to give them a job. Additionally, someone who has a bold vision, because without vision, the people perish. We have plans online to eliminate homestead property taxes, to say a hard no to any AI.
And just to give clarity, that's the Democrat speaker next to him.
Data centers in the state.
But you'll even notice, like, Democrat speakers in Florida, like, Democrats in Florida are still, like, relatively right-wing.
We're pushing back against the red and green threat of China and Islam in our state. We will not let them get a foothold in our state. We have plans for health freedom and wellness and other things to stop sex trafficking. And finally, it comes down to who shows up to fight the left wherever they raise their head. Whether that was school board races in 22 and 24, not the governor's job description, not mine. But I participated, contributed money that we had raised into that to make sure that we got the wokeness out of our schools. We put common sense conservatives in charge of our school districts. And additionally, Amendment 3 and 4, out-of-state billionaires who want to jam their agenda into our state constitution, not going to happen when I'm governor. Again, not this governor's job description or mine, but I went out, I traveled the state with this governor, wrote op-eds, raised and donated over $2 million, especially on Amendment 4, to stop abortion being a destination state here in Florida, to stop recreational pot. You need somebody who's going to show up and beat them whenever they come back, because they are coming back. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. So we're going to ask the first question, since Fishback started opening on the speaker forum first. Same question to both of you, but would you...
The audio is dog shit when you're listening to the audio of the people, like, kind of asking the questions a little bit. Absolute horseshit.
Support legislation, like the equitable rights in Florida, if you're elected governor, and explain how that you want changes to it, what you would like to improve.
Yes, okay, right. Such a Fishback. Absolutely. It was shameful. So I left as Speaker of the House leading legislature in 2024. My successor has been a train wreck. I will say it out loud in public. He shot down not only the Ag Bill of Rights, but also the great health freedom bill that was in front of the legislature last week in special session. Did the same thing during the regular session. I like the Ag Bill of Rights. Here's the difference, guys. This is why this is so important. If a parent faces a child who is depressed and suicidal, they can stop everything they're doing to make sure that never happens. That same child asks AI, AI will give it 10 ways to take their own life. That's why this issue is so critically important. And as Speaker of the House, I fought against online pornography, social media platforms. I understand the threat. I understand that big tech does not care about our children. I know how to bring a fight to them and beat them, because I've already done it once before. To add to your question, Ryan, is yes, I think the bill can go farther. I want to see an opt-in for parents, not an opt-out, but an opt-in, and have to affirmatively decide if you want AI. I don't think AI should be involved in replacing our teachers or teaching our children in any way, shape, or form for the reasons I just mentioned. And also, I want to make sure that the data is anonymous. Social media steals, and without our knowledge or consent, our children's personal information, and I have that information, and that AI chatbot, and again, I'm opposed to it being in there in the first place, but if it's going to happen, cannot come home with that child. AI can never be a substitute mom or dad or God or oracle because it's soulless, it has no moral agency, it has no moral compass. And so it's important that we protect ourselves from AI. And the fundamental things, look, technology like everything else, human beings have to be in control of the technology, not the technology in control of human beings. Period.
Well, thank you. We have to start with one universal truth, which is that parents raise their children.
Someone said that this is the lieutenant governor. Now, the lieutenant governor in Florida is Jay Collins. Jay Collins is a bald guy. Hey, he's not there. To be honest, I think that guy on the other side, I think that's Jolly, the Democrat opponent. I guess I could be wrong, but I would assume it's Jolly, and it's a little zoomed out, but it looks like him vaguely, at least. Like, yeah, that's him, right? That's Jolly. Pretty sure that's him. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm pretty sure it's him, though.
Not the government, not teachers, not Drag Queen Story Hour, and not ChatGPT. And so when we accept that, we have to, as I agree with Speaker Renner, there has to be an opt-in. If you're a 9 or 10-year-old and you want to join
Oh, it's a speaker of Florida. Okay, there we go. Speaker.
ChatGPT or Grok, you have to get affirmative consent from your parents to be able to do that. Why is this such a big issue? Because as Speaker Renner touched on, there are already documented cases of young men and women developing relationships with their AI, relationships that say, I want to see you, kill yourself, here's how you can do it. This is real, this is not hypothetical. And so the internet, we saw the double-edged sword. The same internet that gave us Google Maps, that gave us Wikipedia, also gave us child pornography, also gave us a place for people to buy and sell drugs called Silk Road. AI is no different. Clearly, there are benefits to AI. Clearly, there's a way for AI to superpower education, to help tailor personal individual education plans. But I am firmly on board with an AI Bill of Rights because children are our most precious things in this world. And we cannot let anything, whether it's a corporation or a nation, whether it is a tech billionaire or not, we must stand up to that. The best way you know that AI is a threat is that Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook, the guy pushing AI on your kids, doesn't let his kids use AI.
Crazy. That's a real truth nuke right there. One of the guys making one of the biggest AI companies in the country doesn't even allow his own kids to use it. That should tell you everything you need to know.
Get biblical for a second. Judge them by their fruits. That's what this is about. And when we look at those 10 commandments and we say, honor thy mother and father, it is a mom and a dad in the flesh, not an AI chatbot telling your child how to live. We said hell no to the Drag Queen and Story Hour. We said hell no to the guidance counselor trying to transition your kid. And we say hell no to ChatGPT raising your son or daughter.
Fuck yeah. Let's go Fishback. This guy's amazing.
You mentioned that Speaker Perez is a lot, so I think it's ended up very frustrated at the end of the last legislative session. It seems like almost nothing got done. Speaker Perez, I'll come to you first and then to Fishback. You step into the governor's office. How do we avoid having a session ever again like the one that we had this past year? Well, first of all, I think that every candidate owes you an answer to that question. You have two people that give you an answer to that ridiculous absence of candidates with the name tags that have no one seated at them. And I called for, if you want to leave the free state of Florida, you should tell parents and kids that you wish to protect them from technology, or you're going to be bought and paid for by that technology and do whatever they tell you to do.
Isn't that isn't that Fishback's voice is just that good? Or what is it that everybody else has shitty audio, but Fishback just sounds like crystal clear? What is it? I don't know. Like, Renner, is he not holding the mic close enough? What is it? And the people asking the questions, it's like their audio is dog shit compared to Fishback's.
I think you're owed that, don't you?
Like, you can hear it and understand it, but you kind of gotta...
Some of the other candidates here today, to answer your question, RC, is as a military guy, we're going to be criticizing in private, praising in public. You bring these guys in, and I know the good news is like the English weather. If you don't like your speaker or your president, just wait a few hours, just wait a couple of years, and they'll change. And so this speaker will be out after this session, special session, and another special session ends. We'll have two other guys coming in, Sam Harrison and Jim Boyd, who I know well, and I believe I can work with well. And we're going to hit the ground running, coming out of the governor's race with a lot of political capital. We're going to hit the ground running. And in those 2 years we had, the governor said we're unmatched in any legislative session in any state in America. I'm a conservative. I'm there to get the job done and put conservative wins on the board. And that's what we're going to do. And when we get the same response, and I will tell you, I will be coming to Naples and everywhere around the state to say it's time for one of you to step up and primary that incumbent, because we were not going to allow people, again, to get into office and all they think about is their next office. All they think about is self-promotion. All they think about is getting rich. All they think about is having fun, and they forget about the mission. You're there for a job. do your job. And we see this year the difference that leadership makes when one speaker leaves and another speaker comes in. And so if it comes to that, if it doesn't come to that, I will first try to unite conservatives. We had a much more moderate member on the Senate side of things when I was speaker. You know her, she's from this area. We have a decent relationship because I got a lot of conservative things done. There's some things that she wanted done. We worked with the governor, and they all work because we should not squander a supermajority in the legislature. We should be leading the country.
Thank you, Speaker Ritter. How will we stop the insanity? That was the last issue we heard. He's stepping in the governor's office. How do we fix that?
Well, you step in and you do what President Reagan did best. You actually lead, yes, with a little bit of humor, yes, uniting your own party, but you also have to be willing to reach out a hand. You know, we say we have a supermajority in the Florida legislature. We're not seeing it if that's the kind of gridlock and infighting. We've got to get out of this mindset. We must disabuse ourselves of this notion that because someone says they're a Republican, they are our friend. Liz Cheney said she was a Republican and she backstabbed President Trump. So there are a lot of Republicans in Tallahassee who will say one thing to get elected, but do something entirely different. My job is to go in there as the Republican nominee, as the next governor, to build a coalition that works in common areas, but also calls people out. When there are egregious, hypocritical acts where Republicans said they were going to eliminate gun control, only to find out they won't do that when it comes to the floor of the legislature, they need to be called out mercilessly. And when they do come together, you have to praise them. On my way over here, I was in Oka last night, and I stopped to visit the grave sites of my grandfather and my grandmother at Florida National Cemetery. And my grandmother always said, you've heard this, I'm sure, growing up, it's easier to attract bees with honey than with vinegar. Yes, I will call out mercilessly the backstabbing rhinos. But when Republicans and Democrats work together to deliver the common sense solutions that you send me to Tallahassee to accomplish, I will praise them, even if they're not in my own party.
Someone just goes, I'm back. My boss came by and touched me for being on my phone. Liberal cuck just mad I ain't on my third divorce. Why is your boss touching you? Did he grab you? Why is your boss touching you? I know you probably mean it metaphorically, but why is your boss touching you? That's such a crazy way to phrase that. My boss sexually assaulted me brutally because I was on my phone at work. That's crazy. That's so funny. Good to have you back in the chat, buddy. Hope you're doing well.
These are the audience. There, in the state of Florida, we got a great school choice program. In particular, we've had some questions that relate to homeschooling, whether or not to support homeschooling in the state of Florida. And when it comes to the TAP program, scholarship program, how would you improve or change it?
It is a great question. I look forward to meeting with the leadership of the Collier County School Board tomorrow. I'll be in the offices early to meet with them, as I've met with school board members all over the state. But I've also met with homeschool parents, those who have decided to pull their children out of school, not necessarily.
Yeah, they lost signal during it for a minute. Wait, we'll skip.
DeSantis has given changes that I would. Two big changes I would make to the already great program that Governor DeSantis and First Lady DeSantis has given our state. The first thing I would say.
This guy goes, no, he went full grab, bro. My cheek almost came off. Oh, well. Sue the fuck out of him. You're probably just bullshitting, but if you're not, sue the fuck out of this guy. What are you doing? That's a bag right there. Your boss grabbed your cock? Your boss grabbed your ass? That's sexual harassment.
If you pull your kids out of Collier County Public Schools.
If he did that, go grab his back.
And Collier County Public Schools was going to spend $13,000 per student per year. You should get the full $13,000. Every single penny. Look, I'm not a political guy. I don't have any political experience. I'm a business guy. If you were going to spend $13,000 over here and you don't use that service, you can come over here and get the full amount. That's how we deliver real equality of school choice. Number two is a real frustration I've heard from homeschool parents is the homeschool marketplace. You don't have laptops on there. You have delays. That's a real problem. So what I would do is I would broaden that marketplace. I would make it easier for parents to have access to the tools that they need to educate and to motivate their children at home. I completely unequivocally support the homeschool movement. And that begins with recognizing that if you're going to spend money, if you're going to give a kid a laptop at Golden Gate or at Immokalee, you give that kid as a homeschool student the same money, the same resources. I'm a free market capitalist. The best kind of competition is when our public schools have to compete, our private schools have to compete. I would say Optima would have to compete, but it's closed, and our homeschool parents can compete as well. And so I am 100% in the school choice movement. I would say that I'm pro-choice, but I'll tell you, life begins at conception.
Well, maybe one of the things you can do as Speaker when you leave the Florida House is set up certain priorities. And mine in the first year was HB1, which was the Universal School Choice Scholarship. So that started with yours truly, as did the PEP program. My question to my staff is, what about homeschool parents? Why can't we have something for them as well? And so the scholarship is basically the state portion of education funding. And what James described is that difference in some federal funding, local options that our choice students do not receive. I do believe that the money should always follow the student, just like I believe in healthcare. The money should follow the patient. It's basic 101. And every business has an entrance and an exit, except for education. With a monopoly, we set up a hotel in California where you can enter, but you can never leave. And so with school choice now, every school also has an exit. If you do a good job, people hit the entrance. If you do a bad job, people can and should hit the exits. And so that has made our public schools have to compete more and do a better job. And it's allowed for every parent to decide the best choice for their students on how they get their education. And it goes, it's unbundled. You can be a homeschool kid and go one day a week to a charter school or a traditional public school in physics if you want. That's the beauty of school choice. It was my number one priority in year one, HB1, as Speaker of the House. We are not only going to protect it, but continue to expand it. And it is making our education better. It's making all levels better. And we're going to continue down that path.
Thank you very much. Okay, great question from the audience. If you haven't been sharing these papers, I think it's a great question here tonight. So one from the audience, both of you. Mr. Fishback, I'll come to you first. If day centers are allowed in Florida, do you plan?
Someone with the name Sexualized Reptile says, your guy has no chance to win. First of all, you sound like a freak with your name. Second of all, if you don't think Fishback can win, you're retarded. If Mom Donnie can win, anybody could win. But Fishback definitely will. The second Byron Donalds and Fishback are on the same debate stage, which will happen 1 month and 1 day from today, it's over for Donalds immediately. This guy goes, get triggered. Okay, you're just a fag.
To require them to produce their own electric power and water and not use the Floridian's resources. Mr. Fishback first.
Thank you. I'm a business guy, so everything I look at is through the lens of risk and reward. I'd be lying to you if I said there were not a reward to an AI data center. The number one reward is you'll be able to generate that photo of Donald Trump in a bikini 5 seconds quicker. The risks to AI data centers are bigger than whether or not they generate their own electricity. The 500 acres that in Fort Meade in southern Polk County is now going to an AI data center that can't be used for citrus, it can't be used for cattle, it can't be used to build a rural hospital to serve the 5,000 residents. And so I am a heck no on AI data centers across the board. I don't care if they have a nuclear power plant. I don't care. Now let's talk about how we accomplish that, and first why we should. An AI data center can use upwards of 500,000 gallons of water. Not every month, not every week, every single day. Speaker Renner knows this. We are living through the worst drought here in Florida in 26 years. Now is the worst time to be talking about these new sucking AI data centers. Your electric bills, those are going to go up more. Simple supply and demand. When more electricity demand comes onto the grid, we pay for it as a result. I say no to welfare queens who want lobster and steak on their food stamps, and I say no to Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg trying to have us pay for their electric bills.
Let's go.
And allow me to explain the how. How do we accomplish this? How do we do it if there are county commissions all over the state that are tripping over themselves to approve these AI data centers? How do we accomplish it? We have to do what's called state preemption. We have to preempt all of the authority for AI data centers away from greedy county commissions who will do anything for a quick buck and a Rolex, bring it to Tallahassee, and put in place an indefinite moratorium on AI data centers in every single Florida county.
That's beautiful.
I'm a hard no on AI data centers, and it will absolutely raise your electric bills. And
Yeah, J2, you're right about this. He goes, I'm not going to lie. Whoever was running the stream did not set the audio up to catch the people speaking off, so 100%. The audio on this is not great. The audio from Fishback is actually incredible. The audio from everybody else is literally fucking terrible.
was just discussed, we had a historic drought, and they're going to come in and put a big pipe in the ground and suck out our aquifer. I don't think so. And so one of the candidates of this race, however, said that Florida should lead in the construction of AI data centers. And I'm sorry that he's not here to get his 30 seconds, but he's also said we have enough pristine land to use. Personally, I think that pristine land should stay in pristine use. When I was in the legislature, we championed the Florida Wildlife Corridor, Everglades restoration, Springs restoration. I'm running for the first campaign, and that means all I care about is the people who made their living and made their home here. And we are not going to let big tech come bum rush us to bring in these data centers that will absolutely, if we think we have an affordability problem now, it'll be my day one priority to bring down taxes, insurance, electric bills. We are not going to let AI data centers come in and jeopardize that, and they will absolutely do that. In Louisiana, there's a facility that literally draws more power than the entire city of New Orleans. And so depending on who you ask, it's the equivalent of 600,000 to 800,000 people in one hyperscale center, like the one that's proposed in Fort Meade. I will just say this, under my watch, Florida is not for sale. There's a big choice in this election. It's not from anybody on the stage. If we want to go the direction and do the bidding of big tech at the expense of everyone in this room, of every Florida citizen, or if we're going to stand up.
I love that he highlights that Florida is not for sale because, again, if you guys remember what I talked about yesterday and a little bit last week, Byron Section 8, the retard Donalds, said that Florida is for sale to him. Whoever calls him and donates can steer the direction of Florida. Sorry, excuse me. That's the definition of for sale. So it's actually insane. He's literally selling favors. He's saying, you make a big donation to my campaign, I'll listen to your call, I'll hear you out, and I'll let you steer the direction of this. Yeah, fuck that. Sorry, I don't want Miriam Adelson controlling my state anymore. I want it back in the hands of the Floridians where it belongs.
Florida first, and make sure that we return Florida to the affordable state it used to be so that people can grow up, young people on the front row can grow up and have the same great state that I grew up in, and I'm committed to you to make sure that happens.
a few people out there, and I want to start with this. Many families and individuals are concerned about affordability and high costs of Florida. What will you as governor do to help these families? Mr. Byron?
Holy shit, look at the honker on that guy. $10, he's Jewish. $10. If anyone wants to take me on that, I mean, just look at that. The black hair, the honker. Gotta be, right?
On affordability generally?
Affordability generally, yes.
Sure. So again, you need a vision, and every candidate owes you something in writing. So we put out our property tax proposal, which will eliminate homestead property taxes. We also eliminate taxes for small mom and pop businesses. We give some help to renters. And again, for first-time home buyers, not going to be your first time you own 3 houses in New York, but you've never owned a home, you're a Florida resident. The replacement taxes we have to make up for some of that along with savings are 0 for first-time home buyers. So they will not pay that additional tax. They'll come in, pay no property taxes. Every 95% of Floridians at $1 million or below will not pay any property taxes going forward, period, full stop. So we'll take care of property taxes. We'll make sure we reduce insurance rates. In the speaker, we had bold reforms to lower auto rates and also save our insurance market from collapse. We went after the trial lawyers. We went after the insurance companies. We said, how about we focus on the consumers? How about we focus on we the people to bring down costs and also hold our insurers accountable? I'll take that same mission focus in delivering results and continuing to bring down insurance, temporarily repealing the tax on homeowners insurance, My State Florida Home, which is home parking programs, which can lower insurance by $1,000, and also some regulatory reform that can lower insurance by 5 to 10% in year 1. We're also going to bring down electric rates. I'll be talking about this tomorrow at a roundtable, but suffice to say our utilities are pursuing the green new scam of these huge solar farms, and you see them all over taking up our farmland, which is not the lowest possible cost to deliver electricity to your home. It's not domestically sourced, it's who we're relying on for those panels. China. And for the batteries, China. And it's not reliable because we see when we have a cold snap or a heat wave, the power goes off. And so we have to have electricity that is U.S. produced, reliable, and the lowest possible cost to you. That's 3 areas where we'll bring down costs. And again, part of that is not doing the wrong things by bringing in AI data centers.
When we think about affordability, we should have a 3-part test. How does life feel affordable? We're not asking about the vibe. We're not asking about your personal feelings. We want to make a 3-part objective test. Here we go. The first is, how many 30-year-olds are married and own their home?
Let's go.
My dad, when he was growing up in the 1960s in Fort Lauderdale, half of 30-year-olds were married and owned their home. Today, that's less than 15%. That is a crisis. We have to make it easier for our young...
Another problem with that is Fort Lauderdale is filled with disgusting whores. The unmarriable woman. The woman... Let's see, where do we draw the line? Like, any woman, if you're on the right side of Florida on the coast, which is, one of the most popular places in Florida, anywhere from Daytona and under, Daytona to Miami, Daytona to even, you can go all the way down to, Key West, but we'll just say that Daytona to Miami, to be fair for now. If you marry a woman who lives between Daytona and Miami, you're marrying a whore, most likely. Most likely, you're marrying a whore. 9.9 times out of 10, you're marrying a slut who's been fucked about 1,000 times by every rich guy on their boat. Yeah. It's all just gold diggers and whores in this area. It's sad, but it's literally from Daytona to Miami, everything in between. It's all sluts. It's all old people, but sluts mainly. All the young women, they're sluts. If they're attractive. Even the fat ones are sluts. I actually made a point in my Telegram channel, which I feel like I should reiterate right now, because, I like to think of myself as, a profound thinker a little bit, like Plato or Aristotle or one of those types. But I said that I was thinking about it on Sunday, and I was like, you know what? The ugliest and most attractive women, they are the most delusional because everybody just lies to them. The pretty girls, everybody tells them, oh, you're so funny, you're so smart, you're so blah, blah, blah. Everybody just lies to them all the time. And the fat girls, people lie to them for the opposite. You want to help their feelings maybe a little bit. But, the ugliest and the most attractive are always the most delusional. Sometimes you find that, in the middle, hole-in-the-wall girl. And that's the type you want to marry, realistically. The quiet, subtle type. That's what you're looking for.
Young men and women to find God, to get married, and to have kids. Number 2, is life affordable? Well, here's the question. Can you still raise a family on a single income? My parents did. My parents' parents did. Now you would have to search all day to find a single person who could raise their kids on a single income. We have to make it affordable, yes, by tackling the root cause, which is high prices, but also make it easier for the man who works or the woman who works in the household to be able to get a great paying job. Quite literally, everything is unaffordable if you lose your job because it was given to a cheap foreign laborer from India or China. That's why I will end the H-1B scam once and for all. And then last, can our seniors afford to retire with dignity? I don't want our seniors to have to stare at the ceiling before they go to bed, wondering how they're going to pay their property tax, property insurance, auto insurance, HOA bill. We have to get to the bottom of it. And Speaker Renner touched on it. But the biggest scandal in the property tax space is that in the last 5 years, total statewide property tax revenue, the amount of money they're stealing from us in the last 5 years is up $20 billion. We don't need to roll back spending. We don't need to roll back spending to the 1990s. We need to roll back spending simply to 2020. And if we do that, we can eliminate property taxes for every single homesteaded residence in our state. That's all you have to do. The math works out.
Gentlemen, my question is probably going to resonate. I might not have outside of the name, that's an infrastructure question. And the sprawl of endless Cracker Jack box apartments showing up everywhere. When I left San Francisco in 2014, this is the exact thing that I got away from, because I know what comes afterwards. In a state that grows and is abundant, how do we balance the need for infrastructure while respecting the rights of the people who are already here? Mr. Fishback, I'll come to you first.
Florida is the best state in the country, but it cannot remain the best if the people who made it the best can no longer afford to live here. We are losing our way of life. Buy citrus groves, buy cattle ranchers, and welcome the $7th General to your zip code and whatever the heck a $5.
Bingo. If the people who made Florida great in the first place built this beautiful state up, can no longer afford to live here, you have ruined the state. It's similar to the country. It's similar to the people argument of the country, replacing the people of the country, blah, 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 that we talk about so often. But it's an excellent point. This is why Fishback is one of the greatest politicians, and he's stepping into politics in such a necessary time. We need people like this. Honestly, we need hundreds more like this, but it's got to start somewhere. And I'm so thankful that Fishback is leading this right now in Florida. I truly look at Fishback, and I talk a lot about how black-pilled I am. I talk a lot about how, like, I look at things and I'm like, I really don't see a way out of certain scenarios for America or Americans. Fishback gives me a lot of hope. A lot of hope. He really has some amazing rhetoric points. And when you meet him, it's 10 times the experience than just watching this video. You could feel the electricity and energy. You could like physically see on his face him thinking about every question deeply and trying to give a real meaningful answer. You could legitimately see the emotion on his face. I was there at one of his events as a woman told an abortion story, a horrific one. And yeah, you could legitimately see the emotion on his face. You could see it. This guy he's a real human being. He's authentic. He's one of us. He is a true American, America First patriot. And God bless you, James Fishback, for that. Thank you. We need more of you.
Below is. Bring in another self-service car wash, a mini storage unit, or heaven forbid an AI data center. What are we doing here? My favorite president, Ronald Reagan, said, now is a time for choosing. I want to be very honest with you. If you want GDP, if you want investment to go up, 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 as it has over the last 10 years, an 85% increase in GDP, this is your guy right here, Byron Donalds. He wants to accelerate the development, accelerate the GDP of Florida. I'm not going to worship GDP. What I am going to focus on is preserving our way of life, creating great paying jobs. And you know what? That might mean saying no to a new urban development project. That might mean saying no to a massive Section 8 style housing development. That might mean saying no to tens or hundreds of millions of dollars in investment. My favorite economist is Thomas Sowell, and he said that politics is not about solutions. There is no one size fits all solution that's going to make every single person happy. But politics is about trade-offs. Here is your choice. Do you want to preserve the Florida that we know and love for your kids and mine? Or do we want to make Mark Zuckerberg, George Soros, and Bill Gates rich? Do we want to preserve the Everglades, protect and expand the wildlife corridor, be able to tell our kids that they can still see a Florida panther out on 75 or on the drive up to Immokalee? Or
the first time you see a Florida panther, you'll shit yourself. It's crazy. You'll be driving your car and you'll just see one dash across the road and you're like, what the fuck what the fuck was that? And then you remember there's panthers in Florida and you're like, holy shit. It's actually crazier than when you see an alligator. Alligators aren't like, they're cool to see. It's so cool to see. And I actually see them a lot, to be honest. Mountain lions, I mean, panther, you're not seeing a lot of panthers, but when you see them, you're like, fuck, that's crazy. And to be honest, you're just glad you didn't hit it with your car because you don't even see it coming. That motherfucker darts out of the woods and runs right in front of you. You won't even see. It's crazy how fast these things are. Big these things are, too. They're wild. But alligators are really cool. My buddy was a gator wrestler, so I was never really scared of gators because he kind of taught me, like, the ins and out of, like, how to get a gator to not be aggressive. Like, I couldn't go handle an alligator alone. I wouldn't wrestle one myself. Probably at this point I wouldn't. You know, if I got some training to do it, I would. Maybe if it was a smaller gator. I'm not the biggest guy. But yeah, I mean, I've touched them. They're awesome. I've seen them. And to be honest, alligators aren't that scary. They're pretty cool, and they're not that like crocodiles are fucking aggressive. You don't want to fuck with a crocodile, but a gator, that's nothing. Just approach it calmly, and don't get way too close unless you know exactly what you're doing. Because they are fast as fuck, but they don't really chase you. If you just start darting away, they say zigzag, but it's like alligators are lazy as shit. If they chase you, I mean, that's rare. That's 1 out of 100. It's rare that a crocodile, that'll fucking chase you. But a gator won't. A gator won't. That's why when they're like, oh, alligator alley, it's like, okay, like, alligators aren't even bad. Like, if anything, the Mexicans are having fun playing with the alligator. Like, it's not even bad.
Do we want to make Lennar, GL Homes, and Blackstone rich? The choice is yours to make on August 18th, and I'd be honored to have your vote.
How many of you are familiar with the land remember? Well, this election is about whether we continue a land remember or, as was pointed out, Congressman Donald, land forgotten. Because we have to make sure we put Florida first, and that means we can catch fish and eat the fish we catch. It means we don't develop our state parks. It means we take care of our natural resources. It means, I joke, if I could, I would build a wall and make Georgia pay for it. But, of course, we can't do that. But what we can do in the property tax proposal is there's one group that pays a little bit more. And that's the way it should be. We're shifting that tax burden away from all the people in this audience who think they're living in their home in Florida for out-of-state investors, out-of-state private equity who have purchased over 100,000 homes, single-family homes, and turned into their rents. Now, what's wrong with that? Well, two things. Number one is all that money is getting paid by Floridians, and not a dollar drops into Collier County or any other county in the state. It's all sent out of our state. But the bigger problem is that's over 100,000 homes that none of you guys can ever buy. It artificially drives up the price of homes. So yes, those people will pay more under my property tax proposal. And that money that we have goes into local governments and also our state government. We will invest in infrastructure. That's what your question was about. Because what we need in our leaders, and I did this when I was speaker, is start to make investments today in a term limited world. I support term limits, but make investments today in our water supply, water quality, water treatment, our roads and bridges, our Everglades, our springs, our natural resources that you will never get credit for. That will make sure that this stays in a good spot 20, 30 years from now. When I'm in a recliner and my young kids are grown, I want to be able to look back and be proud that as governor, as your governor, I focused on Florida first and not what we could get with the wrong decision, which is who in the world was in charge that let this happen.
We got a few questions here about, we talked about homeschooling, but about public schools. So, what would you do to improve or reform the current education system here in Florida? And would you, would you support, as one of these measures, reforming the school grading system to a world-class system over a 3-year period, which means raising the scores to reflect an A 90% in the school district? Thank you. I'm going to start with Mr. Fishback.
If we can sum up the crisis in our public schools in one word, it is the crisis of accountability. The teacher who indoctrinates your child, who says that Thomas Jefferson is a racist and Cardi B is a role model, the one who spends more time talking about microaggressions and microbiology only to find out that they are failing your son or daughter at a public school, they need to be fired. That is called accountability. As Jeb Bush would say, please clap. But here's the thing.
That's crazy. As Jeb Bush says, please clap. That's crazy. That's a crazy callback. That's wild. Holy shit. That's crazy. My dog's walking over now. I know she's about to come say hi. I'm a little nervous with my new camera setup and everything. I don't want to knock anything over, but see, this is how you treat a dog. You don't fucking pick a dog up and throw it across the street like that disgusting cunt. Again, she should go right to the fucking slave camps for that. Literally, if I was dictator of America tomorrow, reopen slave camps, all the worst criminals go there, animal abusers included. They will be very welcomed in the slave camps.
My grandmother was a public school teacher. My own sister is a public school teacher. Most public school teachers that I know wake up early, stay late, dig into their own pocket.
EHC, what the fuck? EHC goes, you should feed her chocolate. Chill. Like, I'm not going to kill my fucking... What? No. What? Dogs are allergic to chocolate. That's fucking insane. That's crazy. I guess Hershey's isn't real chocolate, so they theoretically could probably eat it. But no, that's so fucked up.
Pockets to cover lunch money or school supplies for their students. In the world of business, the world that I come from, when someone does a good job, you want to incentivize them to stay. And the way you do it is by paying them more. Florida ranks dead last, 50 out of 50 nationwide in public school teacher pay. We don't want to pay the Marxist who's trying to indoctrinate your kid with Howard Zinn more, but we want to pay the teachers, the AP chemistry teacher at Golden Gate who shows up with fun, creative ways to teach students how to balance equations. We want to teach the AP US history teacher at Immokalee High School who makes history fun. We want to pay them more. One, they deserve it. But more importantly, your child, your grandchild deserves a great school. What makes our schools great, it's not the building.
That was when I grew up, I went to the #1 high school in my state where I grew up. or at least when I was there, it was the number one high school. And one of the things they really got right is the really good teachers, they paid a lot. They paid out the ass because they knew what they had there. Well, when you have a truly amazing teacher, a teacher who really takes an interest in their students and they love what they do and they're great about showing it and expressing it and they're creative in the classroom and they're very adaptive to different situations and accommodating to different, like ADHD, not ADHD, but, all the different things. That's an exceptional teacher. And that's the person, again, one good teacher is 10 times better than 10 shitty ones or 10 average ones. One good teacher can make a massive difference in a child's life. It can be the difference between a kid killing himself or not. It can be the difference between a kid passing and failing, getting held back and not, having ambitions or not. It is truly incredible what a good teacher can accomplish. And that's something my school got right. And that's something Fishback wants to do in Florida. The best teachers should make a lot more than they're currently making. Teachers are very underpaid, and a big reason of that is the way we pay administrators. They're for every one teacher, there's a few administrators in a fucking school, and these people do shit, and they take salaries 5 times as high as teachers. Fuck that.
Sure as heck not the solar panels on top of the building. It is the teachers. The number one driver of in-school performance is the teacher. The number one driver of a student performance out of school is the parent. The way we make public schools excellent is we pay our teachers more. We tie their bonuses to 3 things: test scores, parental evaluations, and student evaluations. You do well, you get paid more. And the way you succeed as a teacher is you bring parents back into the classroom. You help them help their children be the best versions of themselves.
We want a state where everyone has a world-class education, no matter where you go. My mom was a public school teacher. I went through public schools. That's all I ever went to. There wasn't a charter schools really, no private schools. But that's your choice as a mom or dad as to where to send your children. As I mentioned before, I was the guy who championed universal school choice in education here in the state of Florida with HB1. They included for the first time homeschool parents. And of course, if you want to be a traditional homeschool parent, you don't want to take any government money, that's okay too. As governor, we're going to protect your right as in violate. Because again, parents have the primary role to raise and educate your children. It will always be that way when I'm governor. We have to continue to get the indoctrination out of our schools. It has not gone away. When I was Speaker of the House, we ended DEI programs in our universities, but guess what happened? So we defunded that, we got rid of them, it's illegal, we can't have it. So what do? They changed the name, they just burrow down deeper. We had, when I was in the board of governors, we had a guy who was interviewing for the Center for Latin American Studies at the University of Florida, and the interviewee, the person he was looking to hire, said, listen, we're violating the law, we're doing everything, we're breaking the law that Trump wants, we're breaking the law that DeSantis wants, what will you do to help us? That was the question on whether they could get a job at the University of Florida. And so it's going to require someone, and I know the bodies vary on education, because I spend a lot of time working on not only K-12 but also higher ed, and we're going to go after those guys, and if they can't.
Are the Lakers playing right? Someone just texted me about the Lakers game. Are the Lakers playing right now? Not that we're going to watch this, obviously. We're going to do the show. I'm just curious. Legoat in the playoffs at 41? Like, come on.
Just simply teach reading, math, science, civics in K-12, make a high school diploma matter again, then they need to be shown the door. And we do need to affirm our public school teachers. We did $1 billion in teacher salary increases during my time as teacher, but they do need more. They do need to have better pay. But we have to ask of them to focus on educational outcomes. We have almost 40% of our students who do not read on grade level at 3rd grade. That is morally unacceptable. And so we went in to do the science of reading, teach phonics, make sure we have a reading scholarship to advance that, because if you can't read by the 3rd grade, you flatline. And your ability to get to where you need to go in high school and beyond is very, very compromised. So we have to be focused on this issue. I was a speaker, I really got.
Thank you. So we got a couple questions on this topic. I'm going to summarize it up. As we both had mentioned, Amendment 4 a couple years ago, when they tried to put abortion on the ballot, that would allow for abortion on demand. And obviously, we have a 6-week heartbeat looking forward. What would you do to advance the pro-life cause here in Florida, and what would you do to fight against any abortion amendments that may happen again? Mr. Speaker.
Well, I believe the life begins at conception should be protected through natural death. So let's start there. That's what I believe as a Christian. That means that we need to lean into using the bully pulpit as governor. And I spoke to a group of pastors today, and I believe in truth with a capital T. We can disagree over what that is, but we should agree that there is one. Too much of our culture is like conscious Pilate and ask the question, what is truth? That is the language of narcissism and nihilism. And so we have to stand up for life. It is our most fundamental right. Because without life, if you don't protect life, what right can be protected? And so I was speaker when we passed the Heartbeat Protection Act. And I knew coming in earlier years that I was in line to lead the Florida House. And sort of like Esther, for such a time as this, you never could imagine that the Dobbs decision would come out right before I became speaker. So I was in a position to do something about it. And we had people that said, well, let's leave it at 15 weeks or 12 weeks, which effectively would codify status quo and not say it's even life. So we went to Heartbeat. The Senate wanted exceptions, and that's kind of how we landed in that spot. And also then fought against Amendment 4 in a way that some of the candidates who were not on the stage here tonight did not, frankly. And so when it comes to new policy, we need to teach embryology. We need kids coming up understanding what human development looks like, because when you see it, you know what it is.
The audio on these guys is so
today
bad.
about the fact that we need the federal government to respect our laws, and if we have a 6-week period, that means you can't send chemical abortion pills in the mail at 12 and 15 weeks, and that's unsafe for women, and it should not be done. We need the federal government to support us, and if they won't, I don't care who's president, we'll sue them to make sure that we protect our laws. So those are the things that really just goes to speaking to life, because for 50 plus years we've encouraged the culture of death. It will take us some period of time to develop a culture of life, but we're going to go down that path when I'm governor every single day. Thank you.
Well, while the speaker was giving that great answer, I heard a whisper from the ghost of Byron Donalds over here. And he reminded me of what he said on October 17th, 2024 to NBC News when he said, I quote, "Abortion is a personal decision." With all due respect, Byron, no, it's not. Abortion is murder. We're going to stop playing the word games. Call it what it is. It is the greatest Holocaust in human history. Either abortion is murder or it isn't. It's either a Holocaust or it isn't. Or it is either a genocide or it isn't.
That is going to set the Jews off so much, but it's so amazing. I remember when I called what happened in Gaza Holocaust, there people freaked out. They were like, well, you said it's a Holocaust. You can't use that term. It's like, yes, I can. A Holocaust is a genocide. And what's happened to unborn babies is the biggest Holocaust to ever happen. Women have killed more babies through abortion than men have killed in all wars in all human history. It is disgusting. It is so fucked up what women have done. 26 million of my Gen Z brothers and sisters were murdered in the womb. Didn't even get a chance at life because of their selfish mothers. It's hard to even say that they're all selfish because a lot of them are, like, I always say you can't blame women for being women, and women are so easily propagandized and manipulated, and that's what they have been. They've been manipulated and propagandized to think that this is what freedom is. No, this is not freedom. This is mass murder that is happening right now. So we do have to put a little blame on the women, but the majority of the blame falls on the misinformation. It falls on the people spewing that misinformation, the institutions themselves that do these abortions, politicians, a lot of different people. But it's extremely sad. And Fishback is correct to call this a Holocaust because it is.
Whether that abortion happens at a Planned Parenthood or it happens in a college dorm room where a young girl took mifepristone without ever seeing a doctor, crying out, pleading for help. I'm not going to mince words with you. I'm not going to give you a word salad that would make Kamala Harris blush. As governor, I will end abortion in Florida. 0 is the correct number of abortions.
Amen to that. God bless you.
I'm not going to get too much into the novel legal theory, but there is one here, and it's called the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. We don't need to create a new law to abolish abortion in the state of Florida. The 14th Amendment already says you cannot deprive someone of life. If there were a nursing home in Estero, a nursing home in Naples, where they were killing innocent elderly people, we wouldn't run to the legislature and say, let's do a compromise, let's create a law. No, we would go in there, guns blazing, and shut it down. Let me make a promise to you right now. If I'm elected the 47th governor of this state, I will shut down the remaining 53 abortion clinics in Florida.
This is what we need. This is just so electric.
Moving on to the question. Would you champion a campaign finance law that requires over 50% of donor contributions must come from permanent residents of Florida for elections?
Yes. You're from any picture.
Okay, Mr. Fishback.
A long, thoughtful question like that deserves a yes. And let me also just say, when you were asking that, Congressman Donalds was weeping over here because he got $5 million from an AI super PAC led by Mark Zuckerberg. Byron, give the money back. Florida is our home. It's not your balance sheet.
I love when this guy gets amped. When Fishback, I was at the rally, the Fishback rally. It was actually at his gala. Incredible event. The gala was fucking awesome. When I went to his gala, that was the one where he screamed, "Give me back my money, you depraved war criminal!" to Benjamin Netanyahu. Oh my, so elite. Holy shit. Incredible. When this guy gets fired up and he starts getting like a little mad and he starts just fucking yelling a bit, it gets you juiced. It gets you fired up. Fishback he's the fucking man. I love this guy.
Question. So, if there is a change in party in 2028, I'm trying to be specific. What will you do to preserve states' rights as governor? Speaker, we're going to come to you.
Yeah. Well, as an attorney, I believe in the Constitution and the 9th and 10th Amendment. I've said on the radio that I don't care who's in office. If it's a violation of our states' rights, we will give the 9th and 10th Amendment a CrossFit workout every week by filing suit and asserting our rights as a state to control our destiny. as I think most people that are educated in this room, as an educated bunch, know, the federal government has long ago outstripped its limited enumerated powers under the Constitution. And we need to push back against that with a new Supreme Court, both at the state level and the U.S. level, and challenge that. And we've done that in the State House when I was Speaker, along with the governor, on a number of different things. We said, look, if you rape a child, you can receive the death penalty. Now, right now, I believe in that. Right now, that is...
I'm going to pitch my slave idea to Fishback, because right now he's on board with the whole death penalty thing. I'm going to pitch him my slave idea. I'll do that this week, actually. I'll get in contact with him. Like I said, I go back and forth with him here and there. I'll reach out to him. I'm going to pitch my slave idea. I'll pitch it as labor camps, you know, to be a little bit more politically correct or whatever. I'll pitch it as slave camps, but then at the end I'll say we could even just call them labor camps to get them to be more okay with it. But yeah, I'm going to pitch that to him. I think he might be one of the guys who likes it. I think Dan Bilzerian would like it too. Dan Bilzerian's one of the people who's running for office in Florida as well versus fat ass Randy Fine.
Unconstitutional under old Supreme Court precedent, but we're going to challenge that. And we did that. So that's already happened. The Miller test on online pornography, I was very strong in challenging some of these horrible books that are being put in kids' classrooms that are way over the top. And the default position of some of the school boards had been, oh, well, it has literary merit. Wait a minute, adult sodomizing a child has a literary merit in elementary school? I don't think so. And so challenging the Miller test, which set that standard out, which should not apply in the case of children in school, is something we should do. We should pass a bill that we know that is currently unconstitutional under old, bad Supreme Court precedent and let the new U.S. Supreme Court, with President Trump's appointments, is a much, much better court. It's not perfect, but it's much better than it used to be. Challenge those, and again, we'll give them a CrossFit workout, by which I mean we're going to take cases up. We're going to challenge that. Same thing when it comes to Islam. I've been very clear that we're going to stop. I want to see a stop to all Muslim immigration. I want to challenge things in court when it comes to our universal school choice scholarship. We're not sending that money to people that are teaching Sharia law concepts, and they're going to sue us under the...
All right, I'm really quickly. I'm just gonna leave the video playing, turn my camera off for a sec. I'll be back in 30 seconds. I gotta take a piss.
First Amendment, but I don't believe that that is a religious freedom.
This is my like third Red Bull. I don't know. I'm justifying myself, but I
aspect of our society and force us to assimilate to their worldview. But you have to have the courage to bring that also. Thank you.
We have to remember that the federal government did not create the states. The states created the federal government. Whether it was Joe Biden or, heaven forbid, Gavin Newsom in 2028, we have to remember that the governor of Florida is that last line of defense between more encroachment. Speaker Renner started off by saying that we got very close to a Governor Andrew Gillum. Speaker, I can tell you how close we got, precisely the width of Andrew Gillum's crack pipe. And so we have to remember that we can be so close to losing it all. Jefferson said it best. The price of liberty is eternal vigilance. When the federal government tries to mandate vaccines, lockdowns, churches like this one from shutting out parishioners for Sunday service or a funeral, we have to stand up to that. Now, we have to, of course, stand up to the crazy Democrats when they do it. But you also need a Republican who will stand up to his own party when they try to push mandates on us from the federal government. I am a 10th Amendment absolutist. The 10th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution says that if it's not explicitly enumerated for the federal government, it is reserved for the states and her people. That is our job to defend. And so if Washington, D.C. bureaucrats want to strip our rights away from regulating AI or data centers, we're going to see them in court. If they want to try to supersede our right to abolish abortion, we are going to see them in court. If they want to push offshore drilling in the Gulf of America, we will see them in court. And guess what? We will win because President Trump gave us a strong conservative bench. Now, how much we will win, I don't know. It'll either be a 5-4 or a 6-3 speaker, depending on how she is feeling that day.
Thank you. This is going to be a microphone. What guides your moral compass? What guides your moral compass if you get elected? What guides your moral compass? What thing or person? What guides your moral compass if you get elected? What can do that?
Well, listen, as a Christian, I don't think you can do anything other than guide your entire life, and it gives me a true north, and it makes political decisions for me. I think one of the reasons we were successful is making decisions that send other conservatives, running for cover. It's never been hard for me. Because if you know the truth and you act on it, it's really quite easy. There's nothing that doesn't matter about controversy. Maybe I was built for it, but that stuff doesn't bother me. If the media is attacking me, if people are losing their minds, the liberals, TikTok are losing their minds, I'm over the target. And so I don't mind that at all. And so my faith guides me in really every aspect of life. I'm conservative. It's not a conservative on economic issues only, or cultural issues only, or family issues only. It's across the board. And it really is about what works. And fundamentally, we know as Christians that there is a capital T truth. There is a certain way that if you believe in a design, which I do, or create as I do, things work in a certain way, and if you don't follow the user manual, they don't work. And we see a culture, I said in this pastor group today, you don't have to speculate what a world without God looks like. You can see it in our culture. It has names like Jeffrey Epstein. It has names. And Charlie Kirk, before he died, mentioned that, and when I heard him, that every pagan culture, before there was any kind of communication, or people could sail across and talk to each other, all these different areas across the globe had one thing in common: is the sacrifice of children. And you see today, what happens in a world without God And children and our youth are under constant attack, whether it's online pornography, social media, now AI, it takes that in order of magnitude. And I don't think you'll find anybody who's been in public office who's done more to defend childhood and protect children than I have. And I will continue to do that as a father of a 5- and 4-year-old. If you hurt a child in the state of Florida, you will wish you never came in.
Could you restate the question, please?
What one thing guys you all else?
Jesus Christ.
Next question, gentlemen. Speaker Renner, back. What's the one policy you have not spoken about publicly before?
What policy have I not spoken about?
Yeah. What's one that's in the public, something you haven't spoken about publicly before?
The audio is literally such dog shit. Like, the audio of the other people is so fucking bad, it's actually unreal. Yeah, you gotta blame the people who put the event on, though, not Fishback for that. But it's crazy, and he's the only one with good audio. Kind of wild. But the question I think they asked was, like, what's a policy that you believe in that you haven't talked about?
Spoken publicly, maybe.
It's hard to hear them.
You saw this viral video of 2 dads and they're bouncing the baby, and the baby's calling for his mother. I'm not okay with that. So I think, we have a crisis in this country, across the world, where we have fathers that have abandoned their families, and I'm the first guy to stand up and say that men need to do their job and look after their sons and daughters, period. The last thing we need to do in the same way, kissing a mom. And so to consciously allow for surrogacy where 2 men are adopting a child, that is about their own satisfaction, their own enjoyment, their own fulfillment. It's not about
Holy
the child.
shit, let's go. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. On an event of this level, he's saying that 2 gay men should not be able to adopt a baby. God bless you. Let's go. God bless America.
We have to return to a world in which this is about the child. It's not about our convenience. It's about investing in them as a Christian parent. It means my daughter and son is teaching them the gospel, teaching them the importance, how to be a good citizen, how to love each other, how to walk through this world, again, understanding what it's all about, what their purpose is here. And so to have children be commoditized in this fashion is unacceptable. I've not spoken about it, I've posted about it, and I think that needs to end.
Next question for you. What's one policy you haven't spoken about publicly before the election?
Well, my problem is I speak too much publicly and I get myself in trouble. But I share Speaker Renner's frustration with the surrogacy problem. That's why, as governor, I would ban surrogacy in the state of Florida. A woman's womb is not for sale.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
But I will talk about something that is top of mind for a lot of people, not just those in our own party, but those all over the state of Florida, and that is the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirators. What George Orwell wrote in 1984, that their last and most essential command was to deny the evidence of your eyes and ears. We have all read the disgusting horrors in the Epstein files. That's why, as governor, I would work with my cabinet to appoint a special prosecutor to reopen the Epstein investigations here in Florida.
Let's go. People forget, but not Fishback, I was about to say him. Jeffrey Epstein was charged with 2 prostitution charges in Florida, but that was a plea deal. What the original charges were 37 sex trafficking charges of underage women, which was not really investigated much. Alex Acosta actually dropped it because he said that he was intelligence and we shouldn't ask any further. And that's where the intelligence stories and questions kind of came from Acosta's initial statements. But it was never truly investigated, or at least, nothing ever happened from it, and none of the investigations have been released to the public on that.
This man stood against Thomas Massey, stood against a patriot, refused to sign the discharge position,
He's talking about Byron, the retard Donalds.
to bring real justice, transparency to the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. That is not okay. It is disqualifying. We talk a lot about Epstein's island in the Caribbean, but Epstein had an even more prolific island where he committed those heinous, disgraceful, wicked, and vile crimes. That island is right here in our state, the island of Palm Beach. Speaker Renner will know that criminal sexual battery in our state, already on the books, does not have a statute of limitations. That means, like murder, whether it happened 20 or 30 years ago is irrelevant. We can still bring charges today. Oh, and by the way,
he had a house 5 minutes from Mar-a-Lago or so in Palm Beach. It's destroyed now, but they have a new thing in its place. But yeah, that's where it all started.
Criminal sexual battery.
And actually, it all started in Tel Aviv. We could be honest about that, but
is punishable by the death penalty. I will sign those death warrants proudly to execute the individuals who trafficked those young girls with Jeffrey Epstein.
Medical freedom in particular, one of the most controversial parts of that medical freedom bill is the vaccine mandate portion. Will you champion, as governor, amending the current law related to medical vaccine mandates to allow for more parental rights in that area.
Yeah, let me just bootstrap on what was just said, is that we passed that bill to put death penalty on the rape of a child when I'm speaker. When I'm governor, we will also, right now, the law is if you traffic a child under 12, you can receive a death penalty. What about a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old? So you can see on our voterandom.com website, we have a policy, a written policy to end sex trafficking in our state. As horrible as Jeffrey Epstein is, it's happening right now in the state. A lot of those people.
My position is you need to punish it all, but you do need to make the punishments on prepubescent 10 times more. It's evil either way, but prepubescent child is objectively more evil. It's terrible both ways. You know, we were not justifying it if it's, you know, post-pubescent, but the punishments for prepubescent should be even more than it is. Like they're talking about like 14 and 15-year-old stuff like that now. The prepubescent one should be punished the worst for sure. But again, I want them all in the slave camps. I want them all in my slave camp, so it doesn't matter, you know. They're all going to end up in the same place anyway if I was dictator.
The victims are minors. We're going to make sure to impose the death penalty on them, give them adequate funding because it's significantly underfunded, where real girls and boys are being groomed as we speak and not enough investigators to get after it, and we will go after those networks. As to vaccine mandates, again, I also have a bold vision and a written policy, you can see it on our website, for health, freedom, and wellness. That includes an end to vaccine mandates. That includes supporting alternative medicine. That includes a farm-to-cafeteria program to work with our farmers. Again, we're going to make sure that we're taking care of old flora and taking care of nutrition. We want to know what's in our food. And I want to make sure that we also put the cell phones down for a minute. If you remember, those of us that have some gray hair, we have a presidential physical fitness session. We're going to sit-ups, push-ups, pull-ups. I'm going to create a governor's physical fitness test when I'm governor and make sure that we're getting kids on the playground, become resilient, and take care of all these things. So health freedom is about vaccine mandates, but it's also about a lot of other things in our food and taking care to make sure we live long lives of wellness. And there's a lot more ground to be covered here. What I've learned in the course of my work on social media is that a lot of these big corporations that you would hope really care about us just care about monetizing us. And this is true where we had 10 or 11 vaccines and now it's like 70, 80. So we got to get after that and make sure people, parents, and pediatricians should have that conversation, not the pediatrician and the CDC.
Well, Speaker Renner, if you do that governor's fitness test, and I really need to win because I just had 2 Costco hot dogs on the way here, and there's no way I'm going to pass that. Mine was cheaper, $1.50, baby. Look, this guy, he'll raise the price of the Costco hot dog to $9 and pocket the difference.
Tweeted that.
But in all seriousness, one of the gravest crimes against humanity was the lie that the COVID vaccine was safe and effective.
Someone just goes, I just zoned out, but I swear either you or one of them moaned. I didn't hear that. I didn't moan. I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. Did someone else hear it? We'll go back a second. I just went back 10 seconds. Let's see.
Crimes against humanity was the lie that the COVID vaccine was safe and effective. It's a very simple check on someone's independent free thinking. Did you take the mRNA vaccine, yes or no? He took it, I didn't, and I will never let them force that.
You know what it could be too? I laughed at it. Maybe the mic didn't pick up me laughing at first, and you just heard, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think, because I don't hear a moan on here, but I definitely didn't moan.
Poison down you or your kids' throats. But here's the thing. We need medical freedom. In the same way you can't deny someone access to your restaurant, to your concert hall, or to your doctor's office on the basis of their race, of their sex, or their religion, you should not ever be able to deny someone access on the basis of their vaccine status. As governor, I'll get that job done. But there is one exception to this rule, because we've all seen the science, we've seen the studies from Harvard to Stanford. The COVID vaccine is poison. The rates of myocarditis and pericarditis in young men in particular, the incidence of young men suffering heart attacks 40 to 50 times the normal rate. As governor, I will pull the COVID vaccine from the market.
Pull the COVID vaccine. Whoa. Nice.
There is a generation shift that is happening. This question is around government. Speaker Renner, I'll come to you first. Given the young people who are enthusiastic in the room across the state, who are becoming more engaged civically, how will you govern as we move through a generational shift of leadership to take off?
Well, look, I think it's exciting. I know back to Charlie Kirk, who said that the generation, Gen Z generation, the younger generation, is the most conservative generation in our history, in his view. And that's a very, very good thing for the future of our country. And so it's about making sure, in my estimation, that we restore hope where there's not any hope, that we make sure that the American dream should be just as alive for you as it was for me. I bought a home when I was in my 20s with not a lot of money. And so I have, in our property tax proposal, strong incentives to make sure we prioritize first-time home ownership for everybody in this room who's never had the benefit or privilege of owning a home, first and foremost. It means protecting their jobs. I am in the same boat when it comes to H-1B visas. They should be paused altogether and rid of altogether. And that's a federal thing. What I can do as governor is there will be no state employees that have H-1Bs. There will be no state contracts. If you have a state contract, you cannot have an H-1B work. We're going to make sure that Florida jobs are for Florida residents. When it comes to higher education, I'm on record saying we're going to keep in-state tuition steady because we have one of the best deals in America when it comes to a public education, where some out-of-state students pay more, they would pay more in-state in their state than they do out-of-state coming in Florida. And I think that probably ought to go up a little bit to help protect our local folks, but holding in-state tuition steady and continuing down the path to make sure that we have to look at our college degrees as you go through. And I'll give you this example. One of my supporters, his daughter started graphic design as a freshman. By the time she graduated, AI had taken over, and that degree was then worthless. We cannot allow that to happen. We have to be better at getting after it in real time, changing that degree so it's worth something when you graduate. And we're failing young people in that regard too. And so, much like Ronald Reagan, who was an older guy who was president of the United States, he had a great following among young people. And I'm a father of a 5 and 4-year-old. I care a lot about the next generation. If it's not real for you, then that is morally unacceptable. And true leaders will step up for the next generation and make sure that you guys have the same opportunities that I have.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you for very engaged younger generation in the room. As the generation shifts and we move to younger leadership, how are you going to go?
This is not the exception. This is the norm. Thomas Jefferson was 33 at the signing of the Declaration of Independence. James Madison was 25. Alexander Hamilton was 21. Young men built this country. Young men can save this country.
Is he right about that? I thought Alexander Hamilton was like 18. I could be right. He's probably right, but so let's Google. Let's do a live fact check. I mean, it only makes it more impressive if it's 18, but Alexander Hamilton age declaration. Oh, 21. Okay. I thought it was 18. I guess I was wrong. W. Fishback. Why would I question the GOAT?
Let me acknowledge the fact, and I say it with humility, that our campaign is crisscrossing the state. They said we were an online campaign until we showed up at Waffle House with 300 people. We've since been banned. And then we crowded FAU with 800 people. We have visited 61 of our 67 counties. Because we are meeting young, old, black, white, it doesn't matter. We're meeting people, Floridians, Americans, face to face. A new poll just came out yesterday that says that if Byron Donalds is our Republican nominee, he will lose the general to David Jolly. If I am given the honor of being your Republican nominee, that poll says I'll beat David Jolly by 5 points and keep Florida in conservative hands. And you only need to look around this room to know why I beat Jolly and this guy loses. Because I'm willing to show up. I'm willing to take the tough questions. Not right now. I'm willing to take, I know you're interrupting, but not right now. Okay. Well, let me just be honest with you just for a moment.
Someone screaming a question at him, and he's like, don't interrupt me, not right now. Was someone screaming at him?
Donalds, you're a DEI hire because you want to be governor, but you didn't earn it. You're not willing to talk to these
he's doing a bit of pretending Byron Donalds ghost. Okay, I get what he's doing.
people and take questions. Speaker Renner lives 6 hours from here. I live 8 hours from here. You live 10 miles up the street. What's your excuse?
Exactly.
Final question, and I think this one, I think the last is what would you do in your first 24 hours in office as governor? What would be the first thing you do? Mr. Fishback.
The first thing that I would do, the very, very first thing that I would do is...
I'm going to guess. It's either going to be divest the bonds in Israel, or it's going to be, I'm trying to remember, because I've been to a bunch of his rallies and he said this before. Either divest the money from Israel or asylums for homeless people, something like that.
I would deploy the Florida National Guard to remove illegal homeless encampments from our streets.
Oh, boom,
no one
sniped.
Should be living on the street.
Okay, that was hot. That was incredible. What a fucking snipe. Holy shit. From 40 feet out, he drills it.
Street, shooting heroin into a needle, sleeping in urine or excrement, and no one in this room should have to step over them on their way to church, on their way to pick up their car, or on the way simply to a walk on the beach. The homeless crisis is out of control. In Naples, in Fort Myers, in Orlando, even in DeLand, Jacksonville, it doesn't matter. We've got people living on the street. Yes, the law.
Naples, it's not that bad. Fort Myers, it's a shit show. Naples, you want to know the crazy thing about Naples, Florida? And like this comes from someone who lived there for a bit. Naples, Florida. The homeless people in Naples have like watches and shoes and shit on. Like the homeless people in Naples, I'm convinced they're not homeless and they're just people who really don't work, but they have a home and they just sit out on the side of the street to collect some money. Because what they do is they stand at the exit of the highways, like at the light, and they just get people coming off the highway to give them cash. But they're always in like decent shoes. Their clothes are not that dirty and they always have like a watch on. Like it's crazy. Naples homeless people are like the classiest homeless people you ever meet. But then Fort Myers, that's a shit show.
It makes it illegal. But if we're not willing to enforce the law, then nothing changes. You know, burning down a police station in the summer of 2020 to honor George Floyd is illegal, but nobody went to prison. Shooting people on the streets of San Francisco is illegal, but nobody ever goes to prison. So if people can live on the streets and make our lives unsafe, but we don't do anything about it, we tolerate that behavior. We tolerate it, and we have victims like Rita Longrick, 74 years old, from Martin County. She went down to Palm Beach County 3 days before Christmas last year, walked into a Barnes & Noble to buy Christmas.
I remember that. This is so sad. This is actually heartbreaking. I remember reading this story in the paper. Happened like an hour from me. So sad.
Gifts, and she was stabbed to death by a 40-year-old homeless man who came down from Georgia. If you're not safe in a Barnes & Noble, you're not safe anywhere. I would use my constitutional authority to deploy the Florida National Guard to remove illegal homeless encampments from our streets so they can get the care that they need and we can get the safety that we deserve.
Let's go.
Well, what is the first thing part of the U.S. government? So I would call a special session to enact our agenda to lower the cost of living and make Florida affordable again. That means eliminating homestead property taxes. That means reducing insurance costs. That means reversing the perverse incentives that the electrical companies use to overcharge you for your electric bills. And it means ending any chance for AI data centers to be built in the state of Florida. That's my day one priority, and will continue for 8 years because we've got a long road to travel together to make sure that also the young people on the front row have an opportunity, not in their late 40s, but in their 20s, to buy a home and to have that American dream. That will be my day one priority when I'm governor, and a lot of other stuff that you guys are going to like. So we're at a pivotal crossroads, and with a Republican state, it's time for discernment, it's time for common sense to sniff out the campaign conservatives from the true believers. And I do believe, and it's been referenced tonight, some of the people who didn't choose to show up here, even though they live here, we cannot go backwards. What I love about the governor is he's always been...
That's great. Someone just goes, remember, the devil went down to Georgia, which means he can't be from Florida. The devil is a northern Jew. That's crazy. The devil went down to Georgia looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind. He was way behind. He was looking to make a deal. Came across this young man's soul on the fiddle. He was playing it hot. Did I get the lyrics right or did I fuck it up? He stepped up on a hickory stump, said, boy, let me tell you why. I guess you didn't know it, but I am a fiddle player too. And if you care to make a dare, I'll make a bet with you. You play a pretty good fiddle, boy, but give the devil his due. I bet a fiddle of gold against your soul. That I think I'm better than you. Something like, I don't know. It's such a good song. Such a good song. I love that song. Such a great song.
Forward. He's always fought the left wherever they raised their head.
He was in the binds. It's just so catchy. Such a good song.
And there's one guy in this room in this race that's done the same. You're looking at him. Over 20 years in the military, as a prosecutor and as Speaker of the House, I've had a lifetime of leadership under pressure and delivered results. I put forth a bold vision for the future of the state, and I've shown up with courage and beaten them wherever they've raised their heads. That's what we need in the next governor. We need somebody who's got the proven leadership, the mission-centered focus, who's delivered results, and when I'm governor, he will continue to protect and expand the free state of Florida. I know because I was a key architect in building it. God bless you.
I want to be clear. I don't want to set false expectations. I don't want to catfish any of you. I have zero political experience. What I bring is business experience. My investment firm, Zoria, deployed $40 million of capital just last year alone, investing in companies that were doing the crazy thing, which was not using DEI to discriminate against white Christian men, but hiring people on their skill and merit. I was a high school debater. My first ever high school debate tournament was at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas in October of 2009. High school debate changed my life, but then it went woke, and it became very expensive for kids like me to be able to do it. So I started a free high school debate league that now serves students in 52 of our 67 counties, 5,000 students every single year. When the fentanyl epidemic was happening and young kids were being poisoned at the hands of counterfeit pills, I didn't write in for an op-ed. I started NEO, a no-cost assembly for public schools where we partnered with Broward County, Duval County, and Nassau County to teach young people, to educate them about the poison that is fentanyl, to help them avoid addiction and overdose. I'm not political. I have been a Republican since the day I signed up to vote. I'm a fourth-generation Floridian, born and raised in Broward County. My dad drove the city bus for a decade. His dad, my grandpa, was a World War II vet who taught at Florida Atlantic University. His dad, my great-grandfather, was a World War I vet who ran a small hotel on Fort Lauderdale Beach. I bring to this race the passion of a fourth-generation Floridian, a vision that says that Florida should be kept the way she is, and the unapologetic devotion to our Christian faith, the power of Luke 6:46. Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and not do as I say? The most important thing for me is to have principles. People say that a lot. Where are your principles? Principles. Well, the question is, where do your principles come from? For me, they come from two places and two places only: the U.S. Constitution and the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Well, thank you to the candidates for coming. It was very informative and helpful. Did you learn anything?
I think that was it. I think that's it, right?
And I'm pretty sure I didn't answer them. They'll hang around and talk to you. Imagine that. They're willing to talk to you, and they will. And our moderator appreciate that as well.
Fishback didn't talk more, I don't think.
That you have been arguably the most engaged audience we've had for a forum. We've been doing forums for a lot of years, for a lot of different campaigns and races, which is being involved. We've asked all the survey, there's a lot of we hope it comes with any questions for us to be around a little bit tonight as well. So,
yeah, that's it. They don't talk anymore. That's the rest of it. But completely electric. Fishback is the fucking man. He is so legit. Fishback is the guy we need to lead Florida, to lead this movement in Florida, to win this governor's race. It's incredible what he's been able to accomplish. So smart, so talented, so well-spoken. Extremely based, extremely, extremely strict with himself about his religious beliefs. It's popular among groypers and, some far right wingers to say like complete abortion bans, like Charlie Kirk would say. But even as Charlie Kirk would say, that's the Charlie Kirk position. That's not the mainstream conservative position. The mainstream conservative position is more like 6 weeks, rape, incest, blah, 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 all that stuff. My position, Fishback's, Charlie Kirk's, and the rest of the people who are morally correct, the opinion is no abortions whatsoever. If you look in a crowd of 1,000 people, tell me which one was conceived in rape. You cannot. That life is worth something. So I love Fishback's rhetoric. I love the things he says. It's truly electric to see. It's so cool. Like, we could have been born in any time, but we're alive when James Fishback is running for governor. God bless this country. God bless this country. God bless James Fishback. So fucking awesome. But we are going to go on to our comments, where that's been the entire show. Hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to do the comment section now. Big shout out to JT Strongbow. Thank you for your donation of 5K subs. Very much appreciated. I'm just like, now that I'm back on the big screen, again, it's so much clearer now. Like, I don't know if you guys are like, do I look noticeably clearer than I did before? I got to turn my lights down. You can see a little bit of a reflection on my forehead. That's crazy. I got to tone down the new lights. But yeah, I think it looks good. I'm liking it so far. But okay, let's get into the comments. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for being fans of the show. Here we go.
I think if the MAGA base attacks you, you know you're on the right side. MAGA can't be criticized. That's how you know they are in the wrong.
Yeah. The second comment, this is the one under the name Patrick Bet David. Again, like, super odd. But again, I'm not writing it off. I would say it's a 1% chance it's him. 1%. And the only reason I even say that is because Madison Cawthorn and Ron Oons, or Ons or Oons or whatever the fuck, they've commented on my show before. So it's possible. Obviously, the Spotify algorithm does its thing. Their algorithm works in the same way ours does. It promotes things like what you consume. And I'd imagine Patrick Bet David's consuming right-wing content similar to those guys. So maybe, they might just see a title, click it because of clickbait. I do a lot of clickbait titles. But here's the comment from Patrick Bet David. Just listen to this. And while you're listening to it, no, it's from Patrick. No, it's from a name that's under Patrick Bet David. It makes it wilder when you hear it.
You are an inspiration, young man. Keep it up, and one day I may even have you on my podcast. But let's tone it down with the anti-Semitic rhetoric. Wouldn't want to get my co-host Adam to come slap the taste out of your mouth. We are located right here in the great state of Florida after
Is
all.
that a challenge? Your co-host is gonna come slap me in the mouth. Okay, come try, come fucking try. No, I don't want that. I don't want beef with Patrick Bet David. I don't have to agree with everything. You know, we disagree on Israel for sure, but that's fine. That's fine. As long as you're gonna rap, hit him up for me, you're cool with it. I just want to hear you rap it in your voice. I cannot. Ever since he said that, I cannot get that image out of my mind of Patrick Bet David like in a wife beater or some shit, just rapping "Hit 'Em Up" by Tupac. First off, fuck your bitch and the click you claim. It's just like, can you imagine him I just can't see it. I cannot see it in his voice. It would be so funny. Someone goes, it's a little too clear, giving me unpure thoughts. That was kind of the idea behind it. You know, we got some women who love me on the show. You know who you guys are, sweethearts. How you do? Come over here. No, I'm kidding. But I wanted to just give him a taste. Let him see what this is really. Let him see the true magic. No, I do think it's noticeably way better. I had a shitty webcam for the longest time, and now I have like a legit, it's not like a expensive, it's not like a crazy nice or crazy expensive camera or anything, but I got like a, the starter camera you get after you upgrade from a webcam. You know what I mean? We upgraded a bit. Someone goes, that's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. First off, fuck your bitch and the click you claim. West side till we ride and we quick we game. You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife. You bust on bad boys. Oh yeah, I forgot that. Take money. Dude, I just can't picture him doing it. I can't picture him doing it. I have to hear Patrick Bet David do that rap for me, please. That would feed generations. Please, Patrick Bet David, if you could hear me, I'm gonna get you. I'll stop with the anti-Semitism if you rap "Hit 'Em Up." No, I'm not gonna. But if you rap "Hit 'Em Up," we can negotiate. We can negotiate from there. That's a good starting place.
Mark Levin is an Nazi.
Funny way to put it. You got to see the spelling on the screen for that to make a little more sense.
Mag turns on Joe Rogan. Like a bunch of freaking children, everybody needs to grow the fuck up.
Yeah, again, it's just the Israel lobby. That's how they act.
Finally, Joe Rogan grew some balls and did the right thing in the name of truth rather than shilling for Spotify money. Glad to hear. I lost all faith in Joe after how he treated Theo Von. Maybe Joe has a soul and is not popping smoke for Mossad and CIA. This is great news.
Yeah, I don't think Joe Rogan's ever been taking money from Israel. Spotify's not even owned by anyone who's to my knowledge. I mean, they promote the shit out of me, so I doubt they are. And I get paid by Spotify. But yeah, I just don't, I don't think he ever was. The Theo Von thing, though, I think that was a misunderstanding. I think him and Theo Von are actually really close friends, and I think that was just, like, taken extremely out of context. I don't think he was actually calling him, like, insane, and, like, I think that was taken out of context with the clips, because I went back and watched it all. And I've seen the relationship over the years. That's not the first time he's been on. Well, far from it. And they're really good friends. I'm pretty sure they're both in the same area. So yeah, I think that was a bit overblown and just misconception.
Fellas, it's Sean Strickland fight week.
Let's go. Let's go. We're going to defeat the Chechen goat fucker. We're going to defeat the Chechen goat fuckers this week. I've never been more amped. Sean Strickland fight week is Christmas to me. I mean, it's incredible. Like, it's like Christmas when you're a kid. It's just so exciting. Because, it's like, sometimes when you're a big UFC fan, you're like, oh, I really have Saturday night to look forward to. But when Sean Strickland's fighting, you have all week to look forward to. We have media day, weigh-ins, fake weigh-ins, media day, press conference, Sean Strickland fight, post-fight conference. Electric. This is going to be electric. He's going to call him a Chechen goat fucker, a Chechen whore. He's going to say, he's going to call him terror. Oh, it's going to be so good. This week, people don't realize these are two sociopaths fighting each other who legitimately want to see death. A lot of UFC fighters, they like the money. They they're just really Sugar Sean's a great example. Conor McGregor was a great example. Great fighters, incredible, skilled, technical, a little bit of freestyle, but technical fighters. Very, very skilled fighters. But they weren't, psychopaths and sociopaths. They didn't want to see people die. Sugar Sean doesn't want to kill the person he's fighting. Conor McGregor didn't want to, maybe him a little bit, but he didn't really want to murder the people he was fighting. John Jones wanted to murder people. Sean Strickland wants to fucking murder people. He openly talks about it. He's like, yeah, like I've had these tendencies my whole life where I just think about murder. And this is a legal way to get my anger out. Kamzat literally says, Allahu Akbar, I kill everybody. Allahu Akbar, I kill everybody. Everybody dies. I want to kill people. Like, these guys are insane sociopaths who are going to fight each other in this ring, in this caged-in octagon. And here's how it's going to go. Kamzat's going to be trying to take him to the ground. Strickland's going to do everything he can to make him stand up. And I hope Strickland calls him out in the pre-fight press conference, which I think he will. I hope he says similar to what he said in his last fight, where he's like, dude, let's stand and fucking bang like true men here. Let's stand up and bang. No on the ground, no bullshit, not fuck your whatever. I hope that's what happens. I hope he really calls him out and he's like, dude, let's give the people what they want to see. People don't want to see, you know, us trying to submit each other for fucking 25 straight minutes. They want to see us beating the fuck out of each other for 25 minutes. That's what we want to see. And here's my prediction. Sean Strickland by decision. Sean Strickland by decision. I'd be shocked if he knocked him out. Kamzat's incredible. 15-0. He's a specimen of a fighter. But a straight Chechen whore at the same time. Cozied up with a dictator. He's a fucking reckless, worthless fuck. Fuck Kamzat. Fuck everything he stands for. Sean Strickland is America. Sean Strickland is who I'm supporting. He needs to win this. We love Sean Strickland on this show. Sean Strickland Fight Week. Let's fucking go. We're fucking... Oh, America, we are so fucking back, baby.
You see where Randy Fine made a post about not wanting dual citizens in Congress?
Yeah.
Little rat's trying to sneak into the youth's hand like he isn't the retard he's talking about.
Exactly. Because again, like I said earlier in the show, as much as dual passports is a problem, dual loyalty is the bigger issue. Because if you have two passports and you only have allegiance to one of the nations, like similar to Dan Bilzerian, he has no allegiance to Armenia. He's very patriotic. But he has it for ease of travel. It's a little bit of a different thing. Excuse me. But yeah, dual loyalty is the problem, and he has dual loyalty.
Everyone here, if we want to take back our country, we must all ascend. Hit the gym at least 5 times a day and train hard and get stronger.
Exactly. Yeah, that's 100% true. And people don't want to realize, like, this guy responds with this.
Shut up. You are not him, dog.
Shut up,
I don't
pussy.
listen to fucking chuds like.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up, pussy. Shut up. Shut up. Sorry to be insulting, but come on. No, we do need to ascend. Again, people who are more attractive and work out more and all these things, they are more trusted. They are given jobs easier. They move up in the world faster. They're able to convince people of things. A lot of different things. And that's necessary in politics. You know, you got to be a handsome son of a bitch. Bill Clinton raped a woman in a hotel room and nobody gave a fuck because he was mildly attractive. Like, literally, he raped a woman in a hotel room. Nobody gave a shit about it. He got a blowjob under the Oval Office, and practically anyone fucking cared. Half the country, at least, didn't give a shit. And it's because he was mildly attractive. Half the women were like, oh, I wish it was me. You gotta be attractive. And if you weren't born genetically with it, hit the fucking gym tomorrow. Hit the fucking gym today, tomorrow, and every fucking day. Every day. No fucking days off. And again, you don't even have to do anything crazy. Go in there and work out for 20 straight minutes. Go in there and work out for 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day. Work your way up to an hour. But start slow. Start at 15, 20 minutes a day. Go in there, bust out 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, 50 squats. And maybe jog on the treadmill for like a half a mile to a mile. Like, that's a minimal workout. One workout plan I gave to somebody, I said do 50 push-ups, 50 squats, 50 sit-ups, and a 2-minute plank. You could finish that in under 10 minutes. Do that. Go do that every day. That is an excellent start.
I mean, it depends on which type of Latin Americans. For example, Argentinians, Cubans, and Puerto Rican typically are pretty productive and have lower crime rates.
Okay. What were we talking about that you brought this up?
On another issue, I still don't really understand why Latin Americans are treated extremely foreign when we are literally an extension of Spain, which in Europe, and many of us genetically Spanish too. Also, I also would prefer America to stay mostly white, but for me it's not because I think our identity should be tied to race, but because mass demographic changes aren't good for cohesion. The things why Hispanics is that too many of them are entitled to speak Mexican instead of speaking American.
Yeah, again, like, I don't have to play that. Like, Christian had like 3 more I just don't feel like fucking doing all that.
Favorite rapper?
I responded. I said, yay. And then outside of that, probably like J. Cole. And like, I know this, people might know. 6ix9ine. I think 6ix9ine's hilarious. And to be honest, like, if you're ever trying to get like really fired up off of some rap, like, it can get you fired. Like, we're not going to lie. We're not going to say that it doesn't get you fired up. That like some of his songs aren't hard as fuck. Like, dude, 6ix9ine, like, and I don't know, he's funny. Like, when he's like, yo, I stole that shit. Like, that was funny. That was funny.
James, why do you listen to monkey music?
Okay.
Make the white race proud. Listen to rock and metal when you work out.
I listen to mainly rock and metal. I mean, like, if you saw my playlist in Spotify, I listen to mainly rock.
Ye is based, I'll let it slide.
Someone said, what's up, White Magic? How we doing? That's my new name, White Magic. I'll take it. Aryan Magic.
Rock was influenced by black people, so it isn't completely white. Remember, it has its
Yeah,
roots
but
in the
there's a
blues.
difference. There's a difference. Rock isn't about rape and fucking 50 women. I guess, like, some, like, if you talk about, like, Love Gun by Kiss or something, but that's not even, like, in there. They're not even, like, saying the pejorative things they say in rap songs. So that's the point they're making.
Also, he is not someone I would ever take seriously because he always says things, then apologizes for them and does them again.
Okay, but, like, he's the genius. So...
That's actually one of the reasons I defend them. Sometimes I appreciate the musical contributions. Obviously, I'm not talking about rap, but like R&B and jazz.
Okay, nice. All right, we're at the end of the comments here. Just a few more.
Also, I miss the old days when you spent 30 minutes reading the comments.
How long do I spend now? I don't time it. And to be honest, like, Christian, I hate to blame you. I do. I hate to blame you. But if you didn't fucking rape me with paragraphs, if you didn't sexually assault me with words and paragraphs in my Spotify comments, if you didn't pin me down and rape me like an Epstein child in my Spotify comments, I would probably like them a little bit more. But to be honest, like, as much as I enjoy doing the comments, whenever I see a fucking max word count post, I'm just like, I'm gonna kill myself. I've given up all hope on everything. Oh, okay, here, look, Jamin.
Part of the reason he stopped doing that is BC you kept leaving paragraph-long comments, lol. And also he doesn't read out PPL arguing with each other anymore.
Exactly. I used to read every single comment, even if it was, like, irrelevant. Now I just don't do that. Like, if people are arguing with each other in side chats and I just don't see it as relevant to what I'm saying, I'm like, okay, why am I gonna sit here and play? Like, people don't want to listen to that on the live show and on Spot. Like, they don't want to listen to other people argue about nonsense.
At least I do my research.
Sometimes you do.
LeMayo, no, you don't have the time.
Yeah, I have to agree with Jamin there.
Yeah, James, we need more white babies. Hunch sleepovers in IRL with the girl in the red dress.
Groiper's mom just gifted 10 subscriptions on Kick.
Groiper's mom, I love you. Oh, this is your forehead. Mwah! Just gonna fucking kiss it. I love you. I love you. I love you, Groiper's mom. Thank you so much. Shout out JT. Shout out Groiper's mom. You guys are truly the best. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate you guys. It really touches my heart. Thank you guys. The viewers of the show are what motivate me and what keeps us going. It's not only what motivates me. I mean, just wanting to save America and the white race itself. It's a huge motivator, but the people make it possible. Like, we got to a top 5% show in 1 year, our first year on the show, when I had no clue what the fuck I was doing. And it was because of you guys, because you guys tuned in, you guys commented, you guys liked, you guys gifted subs, you guys donated through super chats, and God bless you all. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Every time I hear that little ding, it just touches my heart. God bless you. But yeah, Rogue, you are right. We do need more white babies. Okay, we got 3 more comments, 2 from Christian, 1 from Jamin.
Even though I'm Puerto Rican, I feel like portion of the diaspora should lose their citizenship. Ungrateful fucking bastards. If they hate America and Spain so much, they go to fucking Africa.
See, we could agree.
America is the reason why I live a comfortable life. I was born into poverty, and through military service my stepdad was able to take us out, and with Spain, well, there would be no Puerto Rico without Spain. So yeah, defend both countries' legacies, although sometimes they can be in conflict with one another. Flag of the United States, flag of the United States, flag of the United States first. Fuck those fucking retards like Bad Bunny and Ricky Martin who want independence.
This is what I hate though, Christian. Like, that's rape. That's rape. That's actually worse than rape, because like a rape ends. That felt like it never ended. I still hear it. I'm gonna be having nightmares about about your comments, and like, come on, like a rape ends, that doesn't end. This is what I'm talking about when I say you're sexually assaulting me with your comments. I feel like a victim. I am a victim, actually. I am a victim. I'm like that DoorDash girl. I'm a victim. I am the victim in this crime. You are the one committing this crime, Christian. You're raping me. Like, I'm not giving you consent, Christian. I'm not consenting to this rape. Just so you know, this is a rape. This is not consensual. You raping my comments like that.
Christian, stop it with the max character
Thank
count
you.
comments PLSS.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you, Jamin. Holy shit. It takes a 15-year-old Indian kid to tell you to shut the fuck up. Like, crazy. Holy fuck. But okay, that's been the entire show. God bless you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for being fans of the show. Big shout out to JT and Groiper's mom again. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to all the viewers of the show, the ones who tune in on live and on Spotify. God bless you all. Thank you. God bless James Fishback. God bless the United States of America. Jesus Christ is King. Never forget it. We have free speech written on our hearts. But again, with that, please remember to like, smash the follow button, leave a comment. We read all the comments at the end of each show. Rate the show 5 stars on Spotify. Follow me on X, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Rumble, whatever platform you are watching on. Join the Telegram channel by scanning the code up in the corner. And oh wait, let's get the website pulled up. Show you guys. And remember to check out our website, autv.shop, autv.shop. We got our Repeal the 19th shirts. We got our Benjamin Netanyahu working Trump like a puppet. We got our 8-ball, Magic 8-ball, Israel did it shirt or sweatshirt. We got our AUTV hat. We got our mugs. America, we are fucking back, baby, sweatshirts. I like the designs. And if anybody has some ideas, let me know. We'll get some new ideas back up there soon. But thank you to everyone in the live chat. Thank you to everybody who's tuning in on Spotify. Like I said, God bless you all. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on Wednesday. Hope you guys have a blessed day and a blessed night. Thank you.
The America you once knew is dead. Forget everything you thought you knew. You have been lied to. Used. Turned into a machine whose only use is repeating political talking points that do not serve you. Voting for politicians that don't care about you, and promoting division in a nation that needs unity. America is an empire, and like all other empires, it rose and inevitably will fall. Most people assume America will last forever, but there is no evidence to support that thought. There is evidence to show that the chance of us surviving is a lot slimmer than the chance of us existing for another 250 years. Your mind is broken. Andrew Tate famously said when asked about the easiest way to accomplish physical goals. He said this to convey the truth that anything that is valuable is difficult to achieve, but worth it. The mind of America is broken. The older generations have turned selfish, the younger generations feel contempt, the middle generations are lost, and the middle class has disappeared. $100,000 a year was once a respectable salary, a goal for most. Now it is not enough to qualify for a mortgage. Boomers have made home prices so unaffordable that Gen Z has stopped even thinking about it as an obtainable goal. Blackstone and other private equity companies have been investing in the single-family home market for years now, and we are starting to see the impacts of this in our country. Rents and mortgages have skyrocketed, which has halted home sales. The actions of the boomers and the private equity companies has left an entire generation behind. Older generations don't understand our generation at all. They think we don't work and don't study like them because we are lazy, when in reality our school systems are harder and less rewarding than ever before, and working accomplishes nothing more than survival for most. My grandfather bought his first house for the equivalent of 10 chickens. He worked barely minimum wage and was able to provide for himself, my grandmother, and 3 children. Over time, he made more and became more successful, but his path to success would be impossible in today's day and age. If you worked minimum wage today for 40 hours a week, that would be $290 a week before tax, $1160 a month, or a little less than $14,000 a year. If that was your salary today, you would be homeless and relying on government benefits to survive. If you save 20% of each paycheck to save for a home, it would take you over 10 years to save up for a down payment, and you wouldn't even get accepted for a mortgage. The idea of owning a home and raising a family in it is the real American dream, and it is dead. Your average high schooler will be told 1,000 times before graduation that if they do not get into a good college and get good grades, that their life will be impossible. We send our youth to universities across America, and the kids who choose to not go seem to be far ahead of the students in life. There are about 5 college majors that are worth it. and have a solid return on your investment. And when you look at the most popular college majors, they are some of the least profitable majors with little to no job opportunities. Another stat is that over 50% of people end up getting a job in a field they didn't even study for. So people are taking out student loans with incredibly high interest rates to end up not even using their degrees. 90% of the degrees are essentially worthless, and with the looming threat of AI, robotics, and labor shortages, the other 10% could be on the chopping block soon. This is our reality. We are a generation completely left behind, stripped of our futures before they even start, forced to work to survive but never thrive. The boomer mind cannot comprehend why our minds are the way they are. They can't understand why we feel contempt. They grew up in a world where you meet someone in your town, married them, bought a home, and started a family. For us, we try and meet girls on dating apps and social media, but unless you're 6'5" or crypto rich, you're probably not dating much, because social media and access to dating worldwide has ruined it for everybody. Your average man stands little to no chance. How does an average office worker who goes to his local bar on the weekends compete with Saudi oil kings and offers to fly girls out to yachts every month in Miami? He doesn't stand a chance, and even if he does find a woman, most men I know have completely given up on the idea of finding a wife because dating has just become a humiliation ritual for them. Women want men to act like men but refuse to act like women. They expect a man to lead but are unwilling to follow. We live in the most sexualized generation to ever live. Kids are first seeing pornography at about 10 years old and having sex by 14. Women are taught that modesty is prison and sexual promiscuity is freedom. The feminist movement created figures like Bonnie Blue and started the rise in OnlyFans. And a woman will try and gaslight a man into thinking her posting her bare ass cheeks on Instagram is normal. This has made dating a humiliation ritual. Women once respected themselves, but now they choose to keep their private parts in public. Women now sexualize themselves for money and complain about how sexualized they are. Women are a massive part of the problem. The female mind was not meant to lead. Females are trying to girl boss their way through life instead of finding a man to lead, protect, and provide. This has led to the collapse of marriage and birth rates. Men don't want to settle. Being a woman is easy. You have value just for existing. Even a fat woman will get attention from black guys. Most men don't have that. You need to earn your value as a man through work and determination. And no man of value wants to settle for some girl boss who has had sex with over a dozen guys she doesn't even know. For men, you work and save with the idea of having what your ancestors had before you, only to realize that it is not an obtainable goal anymore. You won't find a woman like your grandma because they don't exist anymore. Your grandma was taught recipes and modesty by her mother. Your girlfriend was taught how to cheat and not get caught by call her daddy. The generational divide is incomprehensible for older generations. They assume things are more or less similar to how they experience it and don't care to learn about the challenges our generation has faced. If you are a 26-year-old like me, you have been alive for 9/11, the housing crash, the Patriot Act, COVID, war on terror, rise in social media, AI, processed foods, rise in microplastic use, school shootings multiple times a year, and cancel culture. This is a difficult stretch of time to grow up in and still have faith in the country. My generation has been put under a microscope. Every action you take is recorded forever. Our devices track us, the companies sell the data, and our private lives have become all too public. Little about your mind is organic. Like previous generations, our mind are altered by subliminal messaging, pushed propaganda one TikTok at a time. The reason you think the way you do is the outcome of thousands of hours of social conditioning from social media algorithms designed to turn you into a slave to the system. Vote Democrat, vote Republican, no kings, abortion is healthcare. This is the mind of a slave, the mind of someone without the ability to create thoughts for themselves. When you lose the ability to think for yourself, that is the start of your own demise. Free your mind, create the realities they talk about, don't live in theirs. Don't be a slave to the system, hack it, manipulate it in your favor. We can't snap our fingers and change the world we live in, but we can take control of it, dismantle it, and create a system that fights for us, not for them.